Good morning. Good early Saturday morning, especially for those of you on the West Coast, because it's only just after 8 o'clock, 8:20 here, East Coast time. So, especially on a Saturday too, you're probably not up this early. One second, get a drink of my coffee here. Good morning. As always, I'm gonna give a few minutes for you guys to jump in here. Then we'll get on today's topic. How are most of you guys doing out there? Don't worry, it's that way for most of you guys. I promise you. It just doesn't look like it because there's so much stuff going on out there. It's crazy, making it look like people got money. You slaves are going to be in a big awakening come September. If they don't extend that student loan, hold off on paying, blah, 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 whatever they called it, come September, you guys are going to see something big. Like a personal financial bomb went off in your finance. You're gonna be like, oh my God, where did that come from? It's a ticking time bomb right now. Tick, tick, all the way till they put them student loans back on your credit reports. Man, it's gonna go kaboom. What's up, Yellow J? He said he's going to bed now. Wow. So I'm gonna give you guys one more minute, then we're gonna get started. Oh man. Wonderful life though, man. I know this is one of the worst times in probably this century. And I'm good. I'm good. Hello everyone. My name is LJ and I'm a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them mathematically see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where everybody lives that believes in finance and everything that goes down in value. This is where those people are called slaves. Okay? Slaves. Now there's two kinds of slaves. There's unconscious slaves and there's conscious slaves. This is what makes an unconscious slave. Unconscious slaves don't trust mathematics and they don't know they don't trust mathematics. They don't even know it. What does that mean? Believing you're a homeowner with a 30-year mortgage and you believe you think you got it on sale. Like you see the price of a house and you're like, oh my God, wow, that's a good price. It's around a blah, blah, blah. And then you go finance it for 30 years and then you believe you're a homeowner. That's not true. And the reason why it's not true, because it's not mathematically true. Because if you just opened up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, you would clearly show you that you're not a homeowner and you don't even have any money to buy a home as soon as you hit equal. Those are unconscious slaves. Conscious slaves were once unconscious. They did the exact same formula. And I said, I use the exact same formula on a true homeowner. And while those negative numbers are still in the calculator, I say, okay, let's do the same calculation on a true homeowner. Hit clear on your calculator. They hit clear on the calculator, and then I just tell them, you're done. That's it. What do you mean? The equation doesn't exist for true homeowners. That's why it's zero. Get it? But they think they realize that oh God, I'm in the negative, and then they wake up by trusting mathematics. That's conscious slaves. The very fact that they know they're a slave, that's step one. First, you have to know you're a slave. Now, I know that seems easy. I know it. I know it's like, what do you mean? Well, I'm here telling you because I'm on the other side of it. That was me. I was a six-figure, college-educated, high-ranking computer engineer, and I didn't even realize I was in the negative, the financial negative, the whole time I was making six figures. Didn't even know it. Didn't even know it. I knew when I was doing, I knew my salary didn't. It did matter, but it didn't because it wasn't making any sense. That was me till I woke up and said, "Oh shit, I'm in the negative." Yep, got out, found Dave Ramsey, got out of debt. Now I'm free. Now I'm here on the other side trying to help people come across by proving everything I'm saying to be true with mathematics. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you learned in the past. If it's not if it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. It can't. That's not an option. You can't finance a car for 84 months and really believe you got it on sale. That's not true. You do the math, you will clearly see that that's not true. Boom, you just be like, "What? What?" You won't care what millions of slaves believe their homeowners with mortgages. Believe it or not, paying a landlord. Yes, they are. They're paying the bank. People with mortgages are renters too. Again, all they got to do is open. This is all they have to do. Open up the calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and hit equal. You hit equal. That's the equity in a house that you don't own. That's how much equity you have in a house that you do not own. That's clear. But if they look at the calculator and still don't believe it, that is what makes them unconscious. They can put the numbers in the calculator themselves and hit equal. And then if you turn to them and say, do you still believe you're a homeowner? If they say yes, that's why they're unconscious. Because the calculator is telling them that it's not true. You know how embarrassing that is, man? Do you know how embarrassing that is? I kept my student loans for 10 years, all that stupid bullshit. I could have paid my student loans off in year one. But instead, you know what I did? Finance trips and cars and clothes and all this other stuff instead of paying off my student loan debt. What you guys don't know is this, especially you unconscious slaves. And I'm just telling you from outside the matrix, okay? If you come across a person like me that knows what I'm telling you right now, and we find out that you have student loans that are older than your children, we're not doing any type of business with you. Because what you don't know is that you don't own yourself. If your student loans are older than your children, you don't even own you, and you don't even know it. We we own ourselves. We don't owe anybody money. Do you guys understand? If you owe somebody, you are owned. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. It just is. And once you get outside of the matrix, you'll say, "Oh, damn, I didn't know myself." Nope. We see you, but you don't see us because you're mathematically blind. Now, the title of this video is my car my car was my car was repossessed. Now, last night, it's in quotes so you guys understand that I don't finance cars, so it's the title of the video because that would be backwards, right? So last night about 12:30 a.m. uh, I'm getting ready for bed, right, man? And I'm going past the window to close the curtains so we can, get in the bed. And we see this truck creeping down the road really, really slow. I mean, it was creeping slow, like slow, slow, like you clearly are looking for something. And so we watch it, and next thing you know, as it comes closer, we notice that it's a tow truck. With just his No, he had his headlights on. No, but he was going really, really slow. Now there's a house directly across the street, like for me, that was just built, brand new people, but the people living in are renters. Okay, they're renting, and so and they had a couple cars over there, right? And this big Nissan Xterra with that big bad boy, right? That big one. So the truck, it goes up and down the road a couple times. It goes down. At first, it goes past, and we're like, okay, he's going to look for something. Then all of a sudden, we see him come back. And then he stops in the middle of the road. This is right across the street. I had a front row seat because I only seen this type of shit on TV. I've never had a car repossessed in my life, so I don't. I hear stories about it or whatever, right? But I had a front row seat. So my girl was like, "Hey, look, come look at this." Tow truck stops in the middle of the street, hops out, goes up the driveway of this car. Next thing you know, you see a couple quick flashes, like he was taking pictures of the license plate or something like that. Then all of a sudden he starts backing up, drops the thing, and hooks this car up. Man, that's a dangerous job, man. I wouldn't want that job because the tow truck driver since it was a four-wheel drive, he had to wrap these things around the back wheels so to lift it up so he can roll it off. Right? That means he has to go under go under the car where he can't see his surroundings anymore. Can you imagine being under a car, repossessing somebody's shit, and you are on the ground, upside down on your back? Your view of the surroundings is completely limited. Somebody, man, that's just some dangerous work. Anyway, I thought for sure somebody was gonna come running out that house like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Right? But nobody. They did it so quiet, man. I just like, how do you hook up a car in a tow truck and be quiet? That was amazing, but he was quiet. Rolled that bad boy out. Car was gone. I don't even, I couldn't even imagine walking out in the morning and seeing that and just your shit gone. You left all kind of shit in the kid because they got kids over there. I'm sure car seats are in there, some toys, some whatever, right? And now you can't get it unless you come up with the man. Now I want you guys to understand something. This is happening everywhere right now. Everywhere. Everywhere. This is happening. And it's like when I come on this channel, man, it's like I know a lot of people come over and say, "Hey, LJ, you're repetitive." I know it's repetitive because it's so damn simple. Of course, math is over and over and over. Of course, it's repetitive. The numbers don't change. Of course, it's repetitive. You guys better, man. This is happening everywhere. And I was thinking to myself as that was happening, okay, they knew that was coming. They had to have known because they haven't been making their payments, obviously. That couldn't be. And when they send out a tow truck, because that shit cannot be cheap. So that has to be at least payment two or three that they've missed. They're not going to send out a tow truck on one missed payment. It will cost them more money to deal with that. But you get to month two and three and four, probably longer, they're coming to get it. I couldn't even sleep. I wouldn't even be able to sleep knowing that my car can be repossessed. But at the same time, I want you slaves to know something, right? When you guys say, "Oh my God, my car is being repossessed," first of all, you got to stop saying "my." It's not your car. You are just the driver of that car. If you're making payments, it's not your car. The very reason why you're making payments You're making payments because you couldn't afford to buy the car. That's why you're making payments. You can't just keep the bank shit and think they're not going to come and get it. The bank let you borrow the money to get the car, and then all of a sudden you think you get to stop paying the bank and keep the car? Are you insane? Something must be wrong with you if you believe that's how it works. You couldn't you couldn't get the car on your own. You needed the bank's money to do it, to get the car. They don't even want that piece of shit. Because only unconscious slaves finance things that clearly go down in value. And then you're gonna fucking finance it? They don't want that depreciating object. But then at the same time, you think you can just take it and keep it and keep the car. It makes absolutely no sense. What are you hiding it for? Why are you hiding their property? It's not yours. That's why you're hiding it. When you own something, you don't have to hide anything from anyone because it's yours. The only time a tow truck will be coming to get your car is because you called it. You broke down somewhere. But outside of that, there's no tow truck coming to get your car because it's yours. And you better find out right now. Let me tell you, slaves. Let me crystal clear with this shit, man. These people talking about cryptocurrencies. You better find out if they had. You better turn to them and say, "Hey, man, have you ever got a car repossessed?" If they say yes, you better stop listening to them. If they're talking about investing and they kind of hint, because slaves don't know sometimes you guys talk out in the open, you don't even know what you're saying. And you'll say, "Oh man," you'll slip to one of your friends talking about a car, my car might get repossessed, or I miss my car payments. That's what we signaling. First of all, if you're making payments at all, right? That's number one, no. But if you're missing payments, that's even triple bad. And then in the same sentence, they're talking about cryptocurrency. You better stop listening to them. You better stop listening to them. If you're going through your neighborhood and you're used to seeing cars parked in driveways, and then next thing you know, you go past so and so's driveway, and it's like, wow, I haven't seen their BMW in a long time. It got repossessed. They're not going to tell you, but just pay attention. And at the same time, I'm gonna give you guys a hint, a hint to how to look at somebody in your neighborhood that might know what I'm talking about. I'll give you some indicators. You might the house is really always kind of like immaculate on the outside, right? It doesn't and they usually have like older cars, but they're really clean. It's like they might have a 5 or 10-year-old car, right? But it looks like it's a brand new 5 or 10-year-old car. Those are indicators. Whenever you see them, they're never stressed. When you come up to them and say, "Hey man, how was your week?" They never turn to you and say, "Oh man, it was a stressing week." They never say that, ever. Because we don't allow that. Stress is, you unconscious slaves, you guys don't understand. Stress is optional. Stress is not mandatory. That's optional. And if you're worried about your car being repossessed, that's called stress. If you stop financing cars, you just remove that stress. It's done. It no longer exists. The bank being in your life, that's also optional. The bank doesn't have to be in your life. You choose the bank to be in your life. Do you understand, slaves? If this is you and you're one of those people that are nervous about getting your car repossessed, this is the moment you need to open your motherfucking eyes up right now and say, why is that? Instead of being stressed and worried about, oh man, I've been paying on this car 4 or 5 years. That's your problem. What are you saying that for? Just because you've been making payments on a car for 3 or 4 years, you are somehow invested in that car. No, you're not. It's not yours until it's paid off. You got to take a step back and say to yourself, why do I believe it takes 7 years to pay off one car? Say like the car is 20,000. Okay, let's just keep simple numbers. 20,000. You believe it takes 7 years to pay back $20,000? Divide the payment up in cars, right? divide the payments, the total amount of the car, divided up by the years amount of years that you're going to finance it. That's how much money per year you're saying you're gonna give out of your salary per year towards that car to pay it off. And when you look at it, you're like, wait a minute, that's like just $2,000 a year. Yeah, that's it, just $2,000 a year. How much do you make a year? You better wake up. You're gonna be living like this until you're dead, especially when you younger kids, man. Hey, if you getting your car repossessed in your 20s, oh fuck, man, you are starting off on the wrong foot. As you probably noticed, man, my tolerance for slaves, man, it's getting bad. I don't even have patience for it no more. That's why I be talking to the members only more. Have you noticed I haven't been on all week for the free side? I'm getting tired of talking to unconscious slaves, man. I'm talking to the members only now, and I can just totally be myself. Now I understand. Let's make sure it's clear. In order for our economy to work, this U.S. economy, it must be this way. Because without unconscious slaves, the housing market wouldn't exist because it couldn't exist. Unconscious slaves must believe it takes 30 years to pay off one house. That it must be that way. You notice how I just say this out in the open? Because they can't fucking hear me. Unconscious slaves don't know what I'm talking about. What do you mean 30 years to pay off one house? Everybody does it. This is what they say to themselves. Everybody pays a 30-year mortgage. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter what type of mortgage. I can get into a house, no money down, 3.5. What? What the fuck are you talking about? It don't take 30 years to pay off one house. And as you guys listen to my voice, I want you guys to understand something. This is me talking to my old self because I did it twice. Each time I bought a house, I had student loan debt. You can't buy a house when you have student loan debt. That's impossible. But I did it twice, both times thinking I'm a homeowner with a 30-year mortgage. I remember this. I remember getting in the house, right? Because you listen to all the motherfucking slaves around. You talking about get a house, stop throwing away your money on rent, all this. Hey man, I swear to God, the bank must have threw those statements out there because slaves just bite onto anything. I got into this house, and all of a sudden, next thing I was supposed to feel this new home ownership feeling, but I was like, damn, man, this seems to have gotten heavier. It has, LJ. Now you are responsible for fixing everything, and it still ain't your house because the bank is your landlord now, and the bank doesn't have to fix shit. You do. It's so crazy. All I had to do was look on my credit report, look how much debt I was in. Just this is all I had to do. Look on my credit report to see how much debt I was in. Okay. And then I say, wait a minute, if I get this house, how much debt will I be in now? You'll be in deeper, 250, $300,000 more. I would have been like, wait a minute, that's like really, really deep. Yes, you don't own anything, LJ. And you got car payments, and you got credit cards, and you got child support, and you got all the, oh my God, I was totally unconscious. And I need to really stress this, repeat this. If you are making car payments, that's a financial embarrassment. If you're making car payments, don't tell anybody. Don't say anything. Don't tell nobody you're making car payments, because people like me are walking around you. And if we hear you mention a car payment, we automatically know you're broke. We automatically know you're an unconscious slave. Why? Because you're making car payments on an object that goes down in value each time you hop in and drive it. Hell, you can have it sitting outside your house and not drive it at all, and it still goes down in value. And you're financing it. Don't ever tell anybody you're making car payments and investing in cryptocurrency. This is a better one. If you can listen to this, or you don't have to listen to this. If somebody's asking you to invest in cryptocurrency, you turn to them and say, "Are you making car payments?" If they tell you yes, that's why they're investing in cryptocurrency, because you can invest in, if you're making car payments, you cannot be making car payments and invest in cryptocurrency at the same time. That goes against the laws of mathematics. You can't do that. That's impossible. And if they're making car payments, this is why they're investing in cryptocurrency. This is why their car gets repossessed. Unconscious slaves like, oh man, a car repossession will hurt my credit. Are you insane? Do you know what a car repossession really, really means? That means you are just horrible. They gave you a chance on loaning you money at a percentage rate. It just sounds so horrible too, as it goes down in value, and you're financing it, and you drive away thinking you are the owner, and you got it on sale. The sale price of a car, when you guys finance cars, whatever sale price you see on the window, that means nothing to you. That doesn't. They're talking to cash buyers. You don't. Nobody gets a finance car on sale. That's against the laws of mathematics. The sale price of a car, what you see on TV, on the car lot, that's not, if you're financing, that doesn't apply to you, slaves. Let me say this right here so you guys can understand, especially you young dudes. Let me tell you something right now, okay? So you can clearly understand, especially with this child support shit. Oh man, child support's killing me. This and that. No, no, no. Let me tell you something. All right. This is when I for one kid, I was paying $1,100 a month for one child for years. And I had to pay for the medical. I had to do all that. And you know how each of the medical was has deductible? I even had to pay a percentage of the deductible on top of that too. Now I was feeling so bad. Oh man, this system's killing me. Man, I can't believe they're taking this much money. Oh man, they just kill me in court, blah, blah. I was all on that. You know what? Let me tell you something. I was making six figures. This whole time I was making six figures, okay? $1,000 a month ain't shit. You know why I thought it was a big deal? Because I was in debt. That's why I thought it was, because I had credit cards, car payments, all this other crazy. Had I not been in debt, $1,000 a month would have been nothing. That was nothing. I could have paid years in advance. Just to say, here's the money now. Don't bother me. Can I pay in advance? Hey, Your Honor. Yeah. What about if I pay in 2 years? If I pay like 2 years worth of child support, can we just avoid court, not come back now, and da da da? You think the judge have ever heard anything like that? That never happens. There'd be nobody, no dad coming in voluntarily paying ahead of time, in advance. But that's how it would be because court's a waste of time. It's a business. I'm telling you, you young dudes right now, if you got out there and made the mistake of getting a girl pregnant early, let me tell you something. Stay out of debt. Do not finance anything ever, and you'll be good. Whatever the state recommendations are, when you're not in debt, it ain't nothing. It seems high when you're in debt. You stay out of debt and you say, hey, the state says you have to pay this much a month, and this is, hey, it won't be nothing. It's nothing. Because if you think about it logically, whatever they're making you pay per month, do you really think it costs that little bit of money to raise a child? Do you really think it costs that little bit of money? Of course not. It costs way more than that than my monthly payments or whatever. And you think about this, right? Since we're on the subject with the kids and stuff, imagine you got kids and your car gets repossessed. All their shit in it, car seats. Yeah, I'm sure this has happened many times. And then you wake up and you got to maybe you had to take your kids to an appointment somewhere and it's fucking gone. Now you're going to be waking up pissed. Oh my God, I can't be. And then you got to just stop. If this is you, you need to stop, go look in the mirror and say, hey, that car's gone because of me. Why? Because I financed it in the first place. That should have been the first sign that I couldn't afford the car because I didn't have the money to buy the car. There's only one way to buy anything. That's with cash. Period. There is no other way to buy anything. There's the laws of mathematics, right? There's the world that we live in, the laws of mathematics when it comes to money. And then outside the laws of mathematics are the laws of the banks. The laws of mathematics say, hey, add up your savings, add up your debt, savings minus debt equals how much money you have to buy a car. If that's in the negative, that means you have no money according to the laws of mathematics. But the banks say, yes, you do. That's business. But then when you don't pay them, they say, excuse me, you're not gonna pay us? No, you can't keep the car. Then you just gonna keep the property. They don't even want that shit. Do you guys understand? They don't want that depreciating stuff. Only unconscious slaves finance things that go down in value. That makes absolutely no sense. None. Zero. I'm watching a TV commercial the other day, so you guys can understand. All you gotta do is pay attention to the commercials. Just pay attention to the commercials. I was watching a commercial. They were talking about some mattress set, and they said you could finance it for 84 months. 84 months. I said, finance what? A bed? That's like 7 years, just a little over 7 years of financing a bed. Zero interest for 84 months. This sounds so crazy. This when you unconscious slaves sign up for this shit, you have no idea what you're saying when you sign a piece of paper that says that. First of all, you're financing a bed. That's number one. You'd be like, wait a minute, I don't have the money to buy this in cash. I can't even, I've been working all my life and I don't have enough money in my account to buy a bed. And then you say for 84 months. So for the next 7 years, you promise the bank that there's nothing going to happen. No job change, no job loss, no economy change for the next 7 years of your life. You can't promise that. You can see in the future like that. 0% interest. That's just to get you in the door. Because when you miss the payments, a payment or two, whatever they put in that convoluted paper, finance and bed paperwork, because who knows what they put in that shit, right? Once you break it, they're gonna stack you with like I bet you it's like 2.9, the maximum 29.99% financing interest rate. Mm. What's up, Jeffrey? Starting to pay rent and mortgage. Start having to pay that rent and mortgage. Good morning, LJ. What's going on? What's up, the boss? Hello, hello. Red, what's up? What's up, Nicer? El Selector, what's going on, man? Pay for the whip in cash and move on. It's just the car. I don't understand why fools finance cars. That's just the way the economy is. That's just it, you know. What'd you say there? Debt, they don't own the car owns them. Sure does. It owns them. What's up, Dave? What's going on? I had a dealer financier tell me that paying cash for a car and financing it is no difference. I just said, okay, you just gotta say okay when people say stuff like that. Because this is what you gotta remember. Always remember this. When somebody says something like that out loud, that means they don't know. Because if they knew, they would never say nothing like that. Like, for example, let me give an example. You would never catch me saying, "Hey, uh, paying cash for a car and financing a car, there is no difference." I would never say that. That wouldn't even come to my brain to ever say something like that because it makes absolutely no sense. And that's how you got to look at it. This is how you'll stop getting like frustrated when you hear slaves just say stupid stuff like that. They'll put, go get they got student loans, but they'll go buy a PS5, right? Or a brand new phone. And you're like, hey man, don't you still have student loans? Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing getting the phone? But you got to remember they're financing the phones too. And they're financing the PS5 because when they're in the negative, that's the only thing they can do. You can't let me give you a big example. It's according to the laws of mathematics, it's 100% impossible. I repeat, impossible to invest in Bitcoin if you have student loans. That's impossible according to the laws of mathematics. 100% impossible. But unconscious slaves believe they can. See what I'm saying? And it must be that way, or else cryptocurrency couldn't exist if slaves didn't believe it. And also, what they don't really understand, if they didn't break cryptocurrency up into pieces, which I call Bitcoin crumbs, if they didn't break it up, they couldn't play. Slaves don't have $50,000 to buy one Bitcoin. They'll never have that kind of money. And don't even get me started on that. Can you imagine how many I've been on this PPP fraud stuff. Can you imagine how many people right now are doing PPP fraud, taking that money, investing in Bitcoin? They always wonder, hey, why is that Bitcoin going through the roof? I know why. Fraud. That's a big part of it right there. They're taking that PPP money and investing in Bitcoin and thinking they're coming up. They took, man, they're just doing you guys so dirty. You unconscious slaves, so dirty. I'm not even gonna get started on that. But if you did fraud and you signed on the dotted line, guess what? You just signed away your freedom. That's what you just did. You said, hey, I don't ever want to own myself again. When you sign that signature, that's what you just said. I don't want to own myself forever for the rest of my life because they're going to give you so much money. And then I'm going to get off this. They're going to give you so much money that you've never seen before at one time in your life, and then you're going to spend it. But what you don't know is this: you are now owned until you're fucking dead. Do you understand? You are owned until you're fucking dead. Mm. And if you have student loans on top of that, you're done. 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 Mm. You guys don't even know, man. I feel that. Ooh, I couldn't even. Ooh, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. Could not even imagine being buried in student loan debt and PPP fraud. Rest. Oh my God. Hell no. And they be posting that right up on Facebook. Oh, you see these people posting, oh, I got this person that, and then you see these company names. You clearly see they making up these names. Clearly. Mm, that's another story though. Ooh, ooh, oh man, because there's nothing like this freedom, man. Nothing. Mm. We say. Then I asked him that if a person financed it and pay for it in the first month, he said, why? He said, why it will affect your credit score. I just shook my head and laughed on the inside. You have to laugh at them because slaves be saying some of the weirdest stuff, man. They do. But remember, they don't know they're doing it though. As a conscious slave, I like that, man. Everyone and everything looks different to me. I know. And this is what you got to do, Donovan. You got to start to embrace that. And the reason to embrace it, so you don't get frustrated at the things that you see your family and friends are going to be doing, because this is going to happen for the rest of your life. So you got to learn to say, well, if they knew, they wouldn't do it. Right? That's how this will help you not say, hey man, that's stupid. Don't ever finance a car for 84 months. You just so you don't have to say that. You see them do it, you got to say, well, obviously they don't know. Keep breaking it down to re reevaluate the last compound, LJ. I know I can't even speak today for some reason. What's up, Cannons? Child support and debt is wild and stressful. Only if you let it. Only if you let it. Commendable K. Finance companies want money over metal. A repo means you're worse than a slave. Yeah, that's true. No one gets a finance anything on sale, especially jewelry, clothes, furniture, vehicle, homes, and Jordans. You better believe it. Slaves don't know that though. They don't know. And remember, none of this could if there wasn't car repossessions, the business of repossessing car. You guys don't really understand. I bet you the car repo business is booming. I bet you they can't even hire enough people. And those of you, this is what I want you to remember this too. Those of you that you might know somebody that looked like they had money to you. They always had the nice cars, the nice houses, or whatever, right? I want you to pay close attention to them. Pay close attention to them. See if they still have those cars. See if they used to always keep their car parked outside the garage. Now it's always parked in the garage. I just want you to pay close attention to that. And then you got to ask yourself, well, they're trying to hide it from getting repossessed. Yeah, so they don't got the money that you thought they had. Just because they have a nicer house and nicer car, the only difference between the two of you guys, they're making larger payments than you. That's it. If their house is bigger, that means their mortgage is bigger. If their cars are nicer, that means their car payments are more money. That's it. You guys are still making car payments. You guys are still slaves. You guys don't own shit. Neither one of you own the houses. Neither one of you own the cars. Nothing. None of it's yours. None of it. You guys both probably have student loans. Yeah. And kids. FHA mortgages, subprime mortgages. And if you're thinking, What's a subprime mortgage? If you hear me say subprime mortgage and you have a house and then you say to yourself, what is a subprime mortgage? You have one. You have one. Again, if you hear me say subprime mortgage and you're in a house with a mortgage and you say, what is a subprime mortgage? That means you have a subprime mortgage. Subprime means below the prime mortgage. What the prime mortgage is what? The best mortgage. And you didn't get it. When you all you have to do is stop and say, "How come I didn't get the best mortgage?" They'll tell you why you didn't get it. That's the answer to that's the answer to your problems. The bank will give you the answer. When you go to the bank, right? If you go to the bank and they give you a subprime mortgage, like a FHA mortgage or whatever, right? You you ask them and say, and they hand it to you and say, here's the subprime mortgage. You say, how come I didn't get the best mortgage? They're gonna be shocked because they don't really get that kind of question, right? How come I didn't get the how come I didn't get the best mortgage? They're gonna be like, oh, and then they're gonna give you the reasons. They're gonna say, here's why you didn't do it. Here's why you wasn't approved for the best mortgage. Why is that? You got a car repossession on your credit report. That's why. Well, they're not gonna say it to you like that because they really want to say first figure out why you got a car repossessed before you come ask us for some money for the best mortgage for a house. The bank is not going to tell you that. They're not going to say, hey, your student loans are older than your children. That's why you didn't get the best mortgage. That's why. Because you don't, if you haven't paid off your student loans in 20 years, what makes you believe you're going to pay a house off in 30? The very fact that you believe it takes 30 years to pay off a house, that's a bigger problem than ever. 30 years of your life to pay off 30 years of your life to pay off something that they built in 30 days. I'm telling you now, especially you young people that are thinking about having kids. Let me tell you something. And you get these slaves walking around talking about, oh man, there's really no perfect time to have. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There is a perfect time to have kids. You know when that is? When you own yourself first. First own yourself, and then you can have kids. Because I promise you this. Let me first you own yourself. I promise you, you won't have a kid by another person that doesn't own themselves. You won't have a baby mama or a baby daddy that don't own themselves and have a kid with them. You won't do that because you'll know what it took to own yourself. You think you're gonna mate with a slave? Hell no, you're not. You're not gonna legally tie yourself with somebody with multiple repossessions on their car repossessions on their credit report. You're not gonna do that. Can you imagine getting with somebody with multiple repossessions, bad credit, PPP fraud, restitution? You find out all that stuff on the credit. Are you insane? That would never happen. And then you have a kid by that person? No. All you gotta do is turn to, hey, have you ever got a car repossessed? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. Yep. Nope. Because there's a reason. First of all, they finance cars. That's problem number one. And then they couldn't even, the bank gave them a chance and they couldn't keep up with that part of the contract. Yeah, that's a problem. Oh yeah, it's going repo car repossession season's going on right now as we speak. What's up, retired? I am the exception to the car payment rule. I'm fortunate. Nobody's an exception to the car payment rule. First of all, what is the car payment rule? I don't know what that is. Let me take that back. The finance company puts the car up for auction after 30 days. Ooh, wee. Hey, Sean, I seen it firsthand last night. Dude hopped out the truck, took a couple snaps out of the plates, slowly dropped down that thing that goes under the car, backed it up there slowly. Man, those guys are good. That's just nerve wracking. Mm. What's up, E man? Sean, a lot can sure can. A lot can happen in 7 years. And you promise that to the bank? Oh hell no. Usually repair shops have old guy looking cars running good for about 3K. Yeah. Bitcoin crumbs, believe that. If they didn't break it up in crumbs, slaves couldn't play. I don't care what slave, how you feel about it. But if somebody, that's another good one too, right? If somebody's telling you to invest in Bitcoin, you turn to them and say, do you have a whole Bitcoin or do you have a piece of Bitcoin? If they have a piece of Bitcoin, you better not listen to them. Don't listen to them. They got Bitcoin crumbs. Okay. That number you seeing on the screen, 50,000, that doesn't apply to them. Okay, that number that they're seeing on Google when the value of a Bitcoin, that only applies to people with whole Bitcoins, people with money. Dave says nothing wrong with getting a car if you can afford it in cash. For sure, if you can afford a $20,000 car in cash, it better than financing. For sure is. That's the only way to buy a car. Period. You only can buy it in cash. There is no other way to buy a car, people, other than cash. There is no other way. They don't know and they can't hear you either. No, the slaves can't hear you for sure. Sean says, when I was a repo agent, there was so much accounts that we couldn't keep up. Oh yeah. Can you imagine? That was back before the shit started kicking off, Sean. Right now, I can only imagine the business right now. I was earning about $2,000 a week easy. Yeah. That's hard, LJ. Own to who you are fucking dead. Oh yeah. To your dead. Sure is. That's why you guys know here. I cuss not for filler words. So you guys, I cuss it to get your attention. It's not just that I'm not one of these dudes that just be saying it every other word. I do it so you can say, why did LJ say that curse word right at that moment? Because it's very important. It's very important. The goal is to own yourself. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equal if you own yourself or not. If that's in a negative, if you don't even know what that number is, you are owned. You're probably thinking, well, who owns me? Log into your credit report. Click on there. Those are all your owners in there. All those people you owe money to, they all own a piece of you. Until all those businesses are paid back, they own you. Once you pay them back, you own yourself. You can't just take their money and walk away. What's up, reigning woman? Dave says, I heard of a girl who tried to set up GoFundMe because the feds came after her for the defrauding PPP loan. Yeah, I posted that on my community. And this is what's crazy, okay? This is what's crazy. First of all, you got to know if it's even true. Okay, it might be fake. And this is why I'm not saying that it's not true because unconscious slaves do things like this, but it just it doesn't it's almost like she's admitting that she used the money wrong. Because if she used the money correctly, she wouldn't have to worry about posting that. Right. So right there, that's kind of an admittance that you took the 20,000 and did something you wasn't supposed to do with it. It doesn't matter if she gets the money back right now. What she doesn't understand is this. It doesn't matter if she even raised the 20,000. You can't go to him and say, hey, here's your money back. It's too late. You use the money. You didn't use the money as it was given. That's already she already broke the law. It's too late. Not only are they going to get 20,000, there's going to be fine penalties and fees and all that other shit stacked on top of it. They're getting way more back than 20,000, and they know she's not going to be able to pay it back. And guess what? They're going to now own her for the rest of her life. You guys that have taken this PPP money and didn't use it what it was supposed to be for, they own you now for whatever amount of money you got. You just sold your freedom for that amount of money. They own you now because they know. Think about it this way. you know you will never be able to pay that amount of money back. You have to know that because that's more money than you ever seen in your entire life at one time. You know you're not going to be able to pay it back. Guess what? They own you now. You just sold yourself for whatever amount of money that is. They own you. That's a hard fact. This is the only channel that's going to give it to you real like this. This is important. The goal is to own yourself. I don't give a fuck what slaves do or what they say. Finance this. It's okay to you own property. And it's all finance. They don't own nothing. They don't own anything. I don't care what they say. I don't care what kind of car they're driving. I don't care what fucking neighborhood they live in. I don't care where they work. It doesn't matter. Economic classes don't even exist. Lower class, middle class, upper class. Those classes don't exist. They don't even exist. There's only two classes, the debt class and the non-debt class, period. Ask for a relationship fax instead of a car fax. I'm right. Let me tell you, for you unconscious slaves, so you guys can understand something, all right? This is going to be here. People like me, some don't want you to see us. Some don't feel like talking to you because you guys make no sense. They don't even bring up money. They don't bring up finance. They don't bring up none of that. Okay, because they don't want. Here I am. This is a sign. If you come across a person, say like you're dating, and well, we would be able to tell right away if you're a slave right away. That's not really difficult. That's kind of a bad. Anyway, if it got serious, you passed all the tests. Let's just say you got to a point to where you passed some tests and financial tests that you don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we and it's going to get to a point to where you're going to say, "Hey, this person is going to ask to see your entire credit report." They're going to say, "Hey, and finances are important. I'll show you mine if you show me yours." That's going to be a dead giveaway of kind of giving you an idea that that's somebody that knows something about money that you don't. Because slaves don't know to ask that of each other, especially in serious relationships. Do you know how many people are married that have never seen their partner's credit reports? They got kids with the people like that. You have a child with somebody and think about it to yourself. Are you with somebody? Have you ever seen their personal credit report? Never? That's a problem. Do you understand that's a huge problem. For people that understand money, that's a requirement. Oh no, I ain't doing that. Okay, then there's no relationship. You just told me everything I need to know about you. LJ, do you think the end result of SMD is for the people to choose minimalism? Do you think the end result of SMD? You know what? This is what I say. Once you get out of debt, you will choose to live the way you want to live because when I like for example, when I give my clients their plans, not only do I give them the steps to how to get out, which are the baby steps, just like what Dave Ramsey does, but on the other side, I show them how to get the same services for a quarter of the price. Because when you're in debt and you're financing phones, you don't like, for example, unconscious slaves still believe that phone bills are 100 plus a month. They still believe cell phone prices are that much. No, they're not. Those prices have been over for years. For years they've been over. I've never paid that much. I pay $100 a year. You think a slave knows that? No, they don't know that. You will naturally it is you'll minimize your life, but it'll be minimized via your money, not your lifestyle. Now you will get rid of a lot of things that you'll find out all the unnecessary things that you have in your life once you get out of debt. You'll be like, oh, I didn't need to do that. No, you don't need to do none of that. You will naturally minimize yourself. You saw the IG post I put on the Discord about a girl doing yeah, I saw that. I did see that. But I want you guys to understand how many people are doing it. Oh, slaves, man. Mm. You guys don't even realize why that money is so easy to get. They're not checking nothing. They're not checking references. They're not doing anything. Have you noticed that? Isn't that similar to getting student loan debt? It's so easy to get. You know why? Because you have to pay it back. But this is worse than student loan debt. Do you understand, slaves? It's worse than student loan debt. It's fraud. You're lying and you signed your name and then you hit enter and sent it electronically. Do you understand what that means when you hit enter and say send? They tell you the rules. Hey, if you're lying, this is what's going to happen. Are you sure you want to do this? Mm. Then you got these people on Facebook giving all the evidence for the prosecution. Just give it to them. Hey, I can help you get some money from the SBA. Hey, look, I'm posting. Look, I got this person 50,000. I got this person 60. Oh, that's called conspiracy. Those people that are doing that, do you think now listen, you guys don't even understand. They don't know that's called conspiracy. They don't know that. That's why think about it. If they knew that was conspiracy, they wouldn't do postings like that. Do you understand? You wouldn't say, "Hey, look, I'm in part of getting some of the stolen money. I'm helping them get stolen money." That's called conspiracy. If they knew that, they wouldn't do that. Can you imagine how easy the work is for them? That's totally easy. There is no way out of it. There's none, zero. There's no way out of it. So falsify, spend the money on whatever. And honestly, deep down inside, let me tell you something. Deep down inside, I really feel bad for you guys. I do, man. I do. Because you'll never be able to feel what I feel today. You'll never be able to feel it, especially if you got student loans and you're part of this fraud stuff, man. Mm. You can never own yourself ever. You'll never be able to pay back that much money. You're the only one that doesn't know that. They're gonna let you guys spend it all, every single penny. You'll spend it all because you've never seen that amount of money. You'll spend every single penny. And then they'll let the tax season come around, and then you have to falsify your taxes because you stole the money. Then they're gonna come knocking on the door. I don't even know how you guys will be able to sleep. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to sleep because you know that knock is coming. It's coming. Understand that the knock is coming, but they can come anytime. They got millions of people to go after. A lot of people. I'm not even say million. I hope it's not that many. That's a lot of people, but they're gonna get to you. It doesn't matter if you took $1,000. It does. It most definitely you come and get into the hundreds of thousands and the millions. Oh yeah, they're most definitely they're probably coming to you first, and then they're gonna make a fucking example out of you. And if you stole that much money, yeah, you're done. Hundreds of thousands, yeah, you're never paying that back. At least you guys that stole maybe a couple thousand or 10,000, you guys have a chance. You still have a chance to say, I mean, you're stamped because you did a federal crime. That's federal. You're stamped, but at least you have a chance to be able to own yourself one day when you pay back all the money and the restitution and all the lawyer fees and all that stuff associated with that bullshit for some green pieces of paper that don't even exist. What's up, champ? Do you think about inflation as a debt-free person? No, I don't. You got to think about it this way, Dennis. None of that stuff exists. Once you get out of debt, you clearly see inflation, blah, blah, blah. That when they start talking about the devalue of the dollar is going to be worthless. Unconscious slaves don't even realize money doesn't even exist for them. If you get your car repossessed, that means you have no money. So who cares what the dollar is doing? You don't have none. You got your car repossessed. If you had money, your car wouldn't be getting repossessed. Do you guys get it? If you had money, your house wouldn't be, you wouldn't get foreclosed on your house because you would own it. That wouldn't exist. So if you're getting your house, if you're getting foreclosed on your house, that's because you had no money to pay for it. So who cares what the dollar is doing? It doesn't matter. All you got to do is this. This is all you got to do. If you guys don't even believe me, people think I'm just making this shit up, right? It just blows my mind. All right. Go Google how much it costs to make $100. Just go Google it. You're going to come to a government website. The government website is going to say, hey, we make $100 bill for 14 cents. It says it right there. I'm not making this up. Just go to the government's not hiding, and they're saying, hey, go here and you can see how much we make it for. And then you go and say 14 cents. How much lower can it get? Because just last year, listen, just last year, it cost 19.6 cents to make $100 bill, right? This year, it costs 14 cents. That's why I don't pay attention to none of that stuff. That doesn't mean anything. Like, and you got to remember this too. So people, unconscious slaves they don't really understand this, but you guys finance everything because that's the only thing. That's the only way you can finance to buy anything because you have no money. Again, if you get your car repossessed, that means you have no money. So that means everything in your life is financed. Because if you had money, your car wouldn't be getting repossessed because you would own it. Do you guys understand how it connects? See how it connects? See how I just connect the dots? I know some people who filled out the PPP to get a new car. You better believe it. They knew you were going to do that, slaves. Do you understand? They knew you were going to spend the money on other stuff. One look at your credit, one look at your personal credit report that tells them everything they need to know about you and what you're going to do with that amount of money. You probably flipped the fuck out when you saw it said approved, your account is funded. You probably went to town. Exactly according to plan. Soon as you hit enter on that keyboard and they said, are you sure? And you said, yes, I am giving, and you enter, you just gave away your life, your financial life. No, your life, because it takes the time in your life. This is this so you can understand. Time is the most valuable thing on earth. Time. One day we're going to be dead. Of course, time is the default. It takes the time in your life to earn the money to pay back what you stole. Now it's going to be even harder for you because you're going to be stamped a felon thief. Do you understand? A felon thief, federal, for green pieces of paper that don't even exist, worth 14 cents. You see these people flashing this PPP money on Instagram, just more evidence for the prosecution, just more. And they fanning out this all these hundreds. All you got to do is say, how many hundreds is that? And you take 14 cents times that amount of money, 0.14 times the amount of money that how many hundreds they have in their hand. That's the real amount of money in their hands. It's not what you're seeing fanning. That's nothing. That's just paper. Just paper with writing on it and some colors and some strips through it. They make that bullshit fancy. Who cares what it looks like? Oh man, they do this to make it hard to copy. Why would you want to copy it? It's 14 cents. Let them do it. Oh man, you'll go to prison if you counterfeit it. Why would you counterfeit? Go to prison for some 14 cents a piece of paper? Are you insane? You better not copy this paper. Understood. Won't be copying shit. Won't be doing none of that. I told one of those PPP guys to stop. He ended up in jail 5 days later. He's been in jail since September. They rounding you up. They rounding up their slaves. You see how they create you? I know this isn't a car possession thing, but hey, listen, this is how they create slaves. They put stacks of green pieces of paper. It's not even, they don't even have to print it. It's just electronic numbers. I want you guys this is why you guys don't really get it. It's not even money. It's some numbers that they punch in the computer and say, that's that, whatever, and hit enter. And then they say, you accepted it. And once you spend a dime of that money, well, it's before that. You're already in as soon as you hit enter. That's it. It's before you even get the money. You don't even get it. And since it's a federal crime, it's going to be ridiculous time to say, hey, man, if you plea out, you'll get probation, uh, and you'll get this restitution if you plead guilty and blah, 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 or you spend the next 10 years in prison. Which way you going to pick? You're going to pick probation. Mm. To where I'm just picturing this right now because you don't know what true freedom feels like, right? You're in the same world, but you're not free anymore because you got to check in with somebody and you got to pay for it too, for who knows how long. Mm. You guys don't even get that. Don't even get it. And don't let you have like a probation officer who's in debt too. Because debt is stressful. People don't even really understand. They're gonna carry that shit right on top of you, especially if they got power over you too. Oh man, they might have a bad day with their wife or their kid, and they just take it straight out on you. Mm. How dirty are they doing them with the PPP? Is there interest, and when do they have to pay it back? Oh, that's a crime. Of course, there's going to be interest, fines, penalties, jail time. It counts how much money. It's a crime. It's a federal crime. They'll never this and then this is what it is. They'll never be able to pay back that amount of money. You know how much they're getting back? They know they're not getting that money back. That's impossible. You can't get blood from a turnip, right? But what the real thing is that they own them now. They own them until they're dead. Can you please explain leasing and financing? One is the intent to own and the other one isn't. But you say it's the same. It's the same. Try not to get too deep. I simplify it here. Does the bank, is it still the bank's car when it's leasing? Yes. Is the leasing and finance is the same thing? Is this, but if you believe in that it's two different terms, that's number one. If you think those two things are different, that's the first problem. Okay. Number two, if you want to stop thinking that way, you say, okay, if I get a lease, does the bank still own the car? Yes. If I do financing, does the bank still own the car? Yes. That's all you need to know. There's nothing else you need to know. It doesn't matter what's in the two differences. It doesn't matter. Just understand if the bank owns it, you don't own it. If you're financing and the bank owns it, you don't own it. If you're leasing the car and the bank owns it, yeah, you don't own it. That's all you need to know. That's it. It doesn't matter what the interest rate is. Just understand if you're paying interest on something that's going down in value at the same time, that's a problem. Imagine two arrows, one going up and one going down at the exact same time on you. You finance the car, it's going up in value for the bank because of interest, but it's going down in value because you're driving it and you own it. See those two now picture this, one arrow going up and one arrow going down, but in the middle is a line that's the natural value of the car for you. Now, when you try to go sell it, guess what? There's a gap because there's an arrow going up and there's an arrow going down at the same time. That creates a gap between the arrows, comes in gap insurance. So if you're a person with gap insurance, that's why your car got repossessed. Because only unconscious slaves have gap insurance. If you go finance a car and they're offering you gap insurance because you're an unconscious slave, only unconscious slaves have gap insurance and finance cars at the same time. Thank you, Donovan. Those agents working the PPP fraud are like Smith from The Matrix. They will destroy you. Yeah. Unconscious slaves, you guys don't have a chance. You guys better be lucky. I'm not a PPP agent. I would destroy, not destroy you, but uh, I you're so easy to see. First, I would just look at your LLC name. I mean, you guys be making up names, just making. Man, when I read some of that stuff, you guys just making up names, just making them up. I would just look at your credit report. First, step one, look at your personal credit report because you better believe they have access to all that. That number that they give you when you're born. You better believe there's some kind of database somewhere that they just throw that number in and they know everything about you. It's connected to everything about you. One look at your personal credit report will tell me everything I needed to know about you. Everything. I know exactly what you did with the money. Exactly. Everything's going to lead back to you because you're doing it what? For the money. Listen closely, okay? So you guys can really get it. Time is the most valuable commodity on earth. It's time because you're going to be dead. Only an unconscious slave would risk the time in their life for paper. Do you get it? Only an unconscious slave would do that. If somebody would say, hey man, I can get this PPP money. I can get you $100,000. I've been like, really? Wow. What happens if I don't use it right and I use it inappropriately and do fraud? Oh, it says you can be fined up to $1 million and 10 years in prison or 30 years in prison. Who knows? Some ridiculous amount, whatever, right? I'd be like, no, thank you. For paper? No, I wouldn't do that. Mm, mm. And they put the money out in one of the most desperate times. Mm, mm. Of course you're going to spend it. Of course you're going to spend that money. You ain't going to spend that money on funding the paycheck, blah 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 bullshit. You're gonna use that money to survive. You're gonna use that money to buy new stuff. And there's a difference. Don't get me wrong. There's a difference. Now, and listen closely, fraud is fraud. Okay, it's fraud, right? But I'm not saying I'm just saying this. If I was an agent, right, and I came across somebody that did fraud, but then I found out they spent their money on rent. They bought food, maybe some clothes, and most of the money was still sitting there. They didn't go out and finance new houses and cars and vacations and shit. It's still fraud. Don't get me wrong. It's still fraud, but I guarantee you something probably be different in there. Now you get somebody that just blatantly slaps the government right in their face. Psh, I don't care what you say. I'm buying jet skis. I'm investing in cryptocurrency. I'm buying cars. Now, when I say buy, they're financing. They're making payments on all of them because they're not spending all that money. You think if somebody get $100,000, you think they're going to run out and get a $70,000 Cadillac Escalade and spend 70,000 of it? No, they're going to finance that Cadillac Escalade. That's just like slapping them right in their face. I don't give a fuck what you guys said. I'm gonna spend it the way I want to spend it. You know what they're gonna say? No, you can't. Oh, is that what you think? Oh, you think you can just do that? Oh, got you. Uh, when you hit enter on the keyboard, did you read the penalties for lying to us? Did you? You probably didn't catch that part, right? Yeah, it's too late. Oh, I have the money, man. I invest and I flipped it back. Oh, here's the money. Oh, it's too late. No, you can keep that. We don't want that. We wanted you the whole time. You. And you gave us you by signing that document and lying. And on top of that, they straight buying stuff that gain no value or stuff with long paperwork trail. At least do a Robin buy granny. People don't really understand this. If you use the money other than what they said you can use the money for, you broke the law. Period. That's it. Period. If you took the money, invested it, say like this, say like you took the money, invested in Bitcoin, tripled it, took the money and said, hey, here, government, here's your money back. They're going to like, okay, what did you use the money for in the first place? What did you do to get this money back to us? That's the next question. What did you do to get us our money back? Did you follow the rules? They're going to clearly find out that you didn't. Then that's it. You broke the law. These people need to realize that they caused legendary Nigerian scammer Hushpa in Dubai. What makes them think they won't catch them? Exactly. If you got if you got a car repossession on your credit report and you're investing in cryptocurrency, that's why you're investing in cryptocurrency. If you're hiding your car and investing in cryptocurrency, that's why you're investing in cryptocurrency. That's why you have pieces. That's why you're investing in pieces of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin crumbs, because unconscious slaves get the crumbs. And see the way see and listen to the way you describe it, LJ. It's not entrapment. They tell them right there, if you hit enter, you're agreeing to what we're saying in this document right here. You're agreeing to it. And if you lie, this is the punishment. Do you agree with it? And yes, electronically sign it. And you better believe their social security number is tied to it. Because entrapment would be saying that if they're entrapping, that means they would entrap me too. That nothing is making me go say, I don't care how many slaves post on social media that they're getting people all this money. It doesn't entice me to say, oh man, I want to go get some of that money. It doesn't make me do that because I know the penalty. I already know I'm lying before I reach out to the people because those businesses don't even exist. Look what happened to the Dogecoin. The bank controls it all. The bank, listen to this. Hey, what's up? What's up, Mike? The bank invented cryptocurrency. I want all you slaves to understand something. The banks came up with cryptocurrency. You guys think cryptocurrency is new. What do you think credit is? What do you think credit is? Credit is cryptocurrency, slaves? Can you hold can you hold credit in your hand? Can you pull it out of your pocket? This, that's weird. That's the same thing you cannot do with cryptocurrency, right? It doesn't exist. Soon as somebody say, "Hey man, you should invest in cryptocurrency," you turn to them and say, "You got student loans?" Yes, that's why they're telling you to invest in cryptocurrency. What do you mean? They have student loans. You can't invest in cryptocurrency with student loans. That's the laws of mathematics say that's impossible. If your student loans are older than your mortgage, you can't buy a house with student loans. That's the laws of the laws of mathematics say that's impossible. This is what cryptocurrency really is, so you unconscious slaves can understand what this is. This like gambling for the people that understand money, but with the odds are always in their favor. They already know. They already know. Unconscious slaves don't know when to pull the money. You know when to pull that money out of cryptocurrency? About late August, early September. Why is that? You're probably thinking, LJ, how do you know that? That's when unconscious slaves got to pay student loan debt again. That's when it kicks back in. You think they're going to have after this frenzy of buying shit and rip off and fraud? You think they're going to have money to pay student loan debt? Nope. They're going to be like, oh, thank God, invested in cryptocurrency. Then they're going to run to try to. They're going to once those student loans kick back in, they're going to run to cryptocurrency try to cash out. Nope, sorry, the money's going to be already gone. Oh my God, I can't believe cryptocurrency crashed. Duh, that was going to happen. Of course it is. You guys still don't believe me here. I'll tell you unconscious slaves that probably came on this channel and say, how does he know that? This is what I want you to go do. Log into your Credit Karma or whatever your credit report is. I want you to go see if your student loans show up on your credit report. Go look. They're probably not even showing up. They're probably vanished, huh? You're like, whoa, what happened? They're gone. Temporarily. That's weird. My student loans are not showing on my credit report. That's weird. No, it's not. Because with it gone, you know what you guys are going to do? Go bury yourselves deeper in debt. And then they're going to put them back on in September. Then you're going to be way deeper than before than you ever have in your fucking life. Slaves for life. That's how they make you guys. That's how they make you slaves. Someone told me leasing is better because you can upgrade every 2 years, or if you don't want the car. See, that's slave talk. Let me tell you, this is what that's called. That's called slave splaining. That's how people justify being in debt. Hey, you can do this, you can upgrade, leasing is better, and this and that. No, it's not. No, none of that is good. Zero. Most people that are leasing, this is why they say, this is why they talk like that. Oh man, you can upgrade in 2 years because they're trapped in the loop. What they're not telling you is this: they can't stop because they have to buy their way out of it because they're so far underwater, they're so far upside down in that car, they have to keep doing this loop now. They can't just stop because they have to have money to buy their way out of because they're so far upside down in the car. Oh, you get to upgrade whatever they think in their brains to make it sound like it's a good thing. Whatever. Hey, whatever. It's all part of the economy. Whatever you want to believe. Those people are trapped because they can't afford shit. They have no money. And if they lose that car, if you always seen this person that says, "Oh, I'm leasing the upgrade," you've always seen them with nice cars. If they decided to get out of that loop, they have to stop. They have to stop with those cars, and then it would expose them to you. You would clearly see they have no money, so they're going to stay in the loop to keep up the illusion. You guys probably have no idea how many people are getting their car repossessed because of leasing. Leasing just makes all they do is lease is it makes a smaller payment to entice you slaves. That's why leasing is always lower payments because you guys focus on payments. Never once stopping to say, wait a minute, why am I making payments on a car? How many years have I been working? I've been working all my life. And you mean to tell me I don't have money to buy a car in cash? A car. I see so many paper tags every day. Oh yeah, it's crazy, ain't it? I'm telling you guys the reason why that is. Credit Student loan debt has been removed from people's credit reports. I've been seeing this with my own eyes through clients that tell me, "Hey, by the way, I have student loan debt." I log into the shit and it don't have there's no student loans on there. I'm like, "Where are these student loans?" Student loans, which with the student loan debt removed, it lowers their debt to income ratio and increases their credit score, which makes them approved for debt. These other unconscious slaves taking this PPP money, putting down on houses. Yep, taking the money and put like you're gonna buy a house with stolen money. All it is, you know, all that stuff is, it's just more evidence for the prosecution. You can't lie about that stuff. And they're going out here financing cars. When you do that with stolen money, you're just saying to the government, fuck you. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. We don't care about your rules. I don't care what you say about prison. Up yours. That's what you're saying. No, no, it's not like that. No, you're gonna no. What you're on renting a house. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have for a house. If that's in the negative, you have no choice but to rent. This is what I want people to stop thinking about their opinions, not just you, Sue. I'm just saying in general. I want you to stop. I want to help you change your view on that, believing there's an option to rent or buy or whatever. Right? I want you to erase that. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have to buy a house, because the only way to buy a house is in cash. If that number's in the negative, you have no choice but to rent. It's really that simple. And I want you to, for especially you younger people, okay? People with mortgages are not homeowners. They're renting from the bank. People with mortgages don't understand they put themselves in a worse situation when they, especially when they believe they're a homeowner. They believe they're a homeowner with a mortgage and think they're owners now or saving money or whatever they're thinking. It doesn't make any sense, right? They remove, like when you rent, if something breaks in your house, you call the landlord comes fixes it for free. When you buy with a mortgage, now you have to pay for the fixes and you're still paying rent to the bank. You're going deeper and you're deeper in the hole. Say like there's two people that are renting. They both got $50,000 in student loan debt. We're gonna keep it simple. But one fell for the slave talk of, hey, stop throwing away your money on rent, which I swear the bank made up that phrase, right? That made up that statement. They fell for it. Oh, the rent is the same as the mortgage, and now you're just throwing away money. So then they move into a house that costs $300,000. They don't own nothing because you can't buy a house with $50,000 in student loan debt. You can't. That's impossible. So now the person that stayed renting, they're still $50,000 in debt, but the person that believed the other unconscious slaves are $400,000 in debt. 350 for the house, $50,000 in student loan debt. They're $400,000 in debt now, and they have to pay for all repairs on the house. And they're renting from the bank. They're not winning slaves. Those are unconscious slaves. The younger you listen to this information, you'll stop listening to slaves. They have no idea what they're talking about. You can't buy a house with student loan debt. Bought my motorcycle cash from a desperate seller, $1,000 discount. You better believe that. Oh, slaves are desperate right now. Desperate. They'll sell at anything. If you're debt free with money, now it's Chris. It's gonna be Christmas for the next 5 years. L Selector says these people don't realize even their their favorite is in debt. Yeah, most people are in debt. Those people don't realize. Okay. Oh, even for their favorite rapper is even in debt. Yeah. Now is the time to buy cars from Destiny. Yeah, now's the time. If you got money, now is the time to car shop. Now's the time. Mm. There's some great deals. There's a lot of desperate people out there, man. Like I said, I saw it firsthand last night. Somebody got their car repossessed last night. I had a front row seat right across the street. Hooked them tires up. 12:30 at night. The people in the house sound asleep. Hooked that truck up, gone. I was like, damn. Mm. So when you guys are driving down the street and you guys are seeing cars on back of tow trucks, and just like what's the name said earlier, these paper tags, you're seeing all these new. Don't you're probably thinking, man, I'm doing so. Man, my financial world has crumbled, but I'm seeing all these people with paper tags. Don't fall for that. Okay, don't worry about what slaves are doing. If they're making payments, if you know somebody, a friend or family member that just got them a brand new car and they're making payments, so what? Who cares what kind of car it is? They don't own it. They're just the driver of that car. The bank let them drive it as long as they make the payments. I promise you, the bank don't care about those cars. They don't care about those cars. Oh yeah, most definitely fire sales. Woo! You wait till September. If you guys, hey man, if you're looking in the market for a car, just wait till September until they put those student loans back on them when they got to make student loan payments and they put them back on their credit reports. That's when it's going to be a fire sale. That's the fire sale. Now's the time to ask your questions if you want to. If you got some questions of me, uh, today's Saturday, and I'm gonna do Q&A Sunday, and then that's it. The rest of the videos are going to be for the members only during the week. I'm gonna just keep these free ones to the weekends. Let me put this up now. If you want a consultation, there's the website. If you don't ever want to be embarrassed by have a car repossessed ever again, you need to come see me. If you don't ever want to be in the position that you are today, because you better believe people are faking on social media. Okay, a lot of those people are faking. Don't fall for it. If you don't ever want to get a car repossessed ever again, you need to come see me. How do I guarantee it? Because you cannot get something repossessed if you own it. There's nobody to come get it. It's yours. A lot of these real estate sales people are even in debt. Oh yeah. These real estate. I mean, everybody's in debt. I mean, if they're selling your house or trying to sell right now, the market is so called hot. It's so called hot. No, it's not. That's an illusion. But you real estate people, get your money. Get your money. Hey, I ain't knocking business. But the majority of people selling you houses are in debt too. And some are desperate. they're getting you into these houses with subprime mortgages, man. It's just crazy. It's just business. It's not nothing personal. I'm not against the real estate agent setting up somebody to get a subprime mortgage. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying they just, hey, unconscious slaves, man. Hey, you're just done. You just do it. That's totally up to you. What do you want? What kind of car do you want? Everybody has a different taste in cars, right? And it doesn't matter. Just like first you pick the car that you want, right? And when you're debt free, don't worry about the you will always have money to fix it. When it breaks down, you just take it to the shop and say put a new part on it. These are all financial instruments of debt enslavement. They are. But I really want you guys to understand something. It must be this way. I want to repeat this to you. It must be this way. Slave must continue to finance cars because if they didn't, car lots wouldn't exist. They wouldn't exist. Credit card companies wouldn't exist. Student loan debt wouldn't exist. Cell phone business would Apple would Apple would probably go out of business because nobody would be financing phones. You guys, hey, if they didn't finance phones, you guys couldn't afford to get those phones. You could, if you don't listen. You guys probably got most people got the top phone, like the top iPhone, which is like $1,500. How many slaves do you think have $1,500 cash, especially a slave that just got their car repossessed? You think that slave has $1,500 for a cell phone? No. If they didn't finance phones, you guys couldn't get them. It must be this way. I get it. Hey, when you get out of the debt matrix, let me explain something to you. You know how you look at big companies totally different. I look at Apple. You know they're big. Everybody knows Apple's big, but when you get out of the debt matrix, you see how big they are. I mean, you really see it. You're like, oh damn, damn. This is what I want you to picture, especially unconscious slave. Okay, you're worried about getting your car repossessed, and you have student loans. Apple makes billions of dollars. Let me say that one more time. You have student loan debt that you've had that's older than your children, and you're worried about your car getting repossessed. And Apple has billions of dollars. Get it? Without you, Apple couldn't exist. Why do you say that? Because people that understand money would never in a million years finance a fucking cell phone. Do you understand? But it must be that way. It must be this way. You know why your car got repossessed? Because your phone is financed. If you get a new iPhone every year, that's why your car got repossessed. If you have to have the latest phone or whatever phone, that's why your car got repossessed because you have the latest phone. That's why. You get it? Don't ever tell anybody that you have a finance cell phone in your hand. Don't you ever fucking say that ever. You don't know if people like me are standing around you. I'm giving you guys hints. You guys want to know the people that got money? Because I'm not saying that not got money, but understand money. They have jobs. I'm not saying people that understand money don't have jobs. This is how you identify them, right? Pay attention to their car. Maybe you see a person with an old car. Some of them don't give a fuck about a car, right? You might see a not totally raggedy, but just that it might be older, but it's kind of dirty or whatever, right? But it's not a piece of junk, right? And they don't care what you think about their car. That's a hint. Or they have an older, clean car. It's really, really clean, and it's older though, but it's clean. That's a hint. 9 times out of 10, those are people with money that understand you never ever finance a car. You only buy a car in cash. Mm. Don't ever be talking about, oh man, I sure hope they forgive some student loan debt. Don't ever say that shit out loud, ever. Because those are slaves begging for forgiveness. You put yourself there. What you begging for? You're the only one that can get yourself out of it. They're not forgiving nothing. And some of these channels, man, they be pissing me off sometimes. They be suggesting that you keep it. It's okay. It's such a low interest rate. They're doing you guys so dirty when they tell you shit like that. You understand? Oh man, don't worry about your student loan debt. It's got such a low interest rate. You can invest in over here. That's bullshit. You know why they're telling the next time you hear a person tell you that, you turn to them and say, do you have student loan debt? When they say yes, that's why they're telling you that, because they have it too. Of course, college is expensive if you keep your student loans for 20 years. Of course. If you go to college for 4 years, but you keep your student loans for 20. Of course, college is expensive for you and people like you. That's why your car got repossessed, because you have 20-year-old student loan debt. That's why. My old car definitely not clean, full of tile and grout at the moment, and I don't care what people say. Exactly, don't even care. They don't get embarrassed if you drive up in a brand new Cadillac Escalade that you're making payments on, and you see this person has an old car. They're not really impressed by your new car. They might mention it. Oh, is that new? But that's about it. Because 9 times out of 10, if they know you like that, they know you're making car payments. Pay attention to those people that are not impressed by anything new you get. They're not impressed. I try to keep it as simple as possible, Jeffrey. I want unconscious slaves to understand this. But you think I must keep giving this information away for free? Nope, that's done. You guys want this knowledge? Hey, you're gonna have to sign up for to be a member or whatever. It's totally up to you. Or sign up for a consultation, give you the blueprint. You can get out of that nonsense. Get out of car repossession, financing cars and beds and furniture. All that. That's unconscious slaves do that. Finance furniture. Listen, slaves finance furniture. Furniture is already overpriced. It's already overpriced. And a slave will finance it for 5 years. Just like I told you before, there was a bed commercial financing up to 84 months. That's a little over 7 years. Mm, mm, mm. All my friends have new fancy cars with the cheapest car insurance. I know, right? Have you guys been paying attention to that too? Have you been paying attention to all, especially on social media? They are pushing cheap car insurance. Have you noticed that? Commercials. Why do you think that is? It's all for you. if they're selling you car insurance with cartoon characters, that's a sign. I'm gonna say that one more time. If you bought your car insurance based on some character that you saw on TV, some cartoon character, that's a sign they were talking to you. Because when you get out of the debt matrix, you look at stuff like that and say, "Why is there a cartoon character in this business in this business commercial? Why are they selling me car insurance? Why are they picking a superstar, or a rapper, or a sports agent, or a sports player to sell me something? What's that got to do with insurance? Nothing. Ain't got nothing to do with insurance. It has absolutely nothing to do with insurance. Then why is it there? For you, slave, to get your attention. It obviously works, right? It works. That's why they have into like these credit repair. Have you noticed these credit repair? They always start out with some kind of star in the beginning. They do the same thing over and over again. They start out with the star in the beginning of the little commercial, whatever they put together on social media. That's to get your attention. And then that star disappears, and then there's regular people telling you something and selling you something, whatever, throughout the commercial. See how it works? El Selector says, soon they will start financing food, and slaves will go to the grocery store and start financing that. They already do. They already do. Slaves finance hamburgers. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have to buy food. So let's make it even simpler, because most people don't even get when I say that, okay? Take the money that you have in the bank, open your calculator too, because I don't want you guys thinking I'm trying to trick you. Open up your calculator so you can put these numbers in your calculator yourself with your own motherfucking finger. I want you to put in the money that you have in the bank minus your total student loan debt and hit equal. That's how much money you have to buy food. That's how much money you have to go out to eat. That's how much money you have to buy McDonald's. That's how much money you have to buy a coffee at Starbucks. That's how much money you have to buy a PS5. That's how much money you have to buy to get the internet to connect your PS5 to the internet so you can play online to buy games. That's how much money you have to do all that. And you're probably thinking to yourself, I can't buy anything with negative dollars. I know that. So does the laws of mathematics, but you don't know that because you're playing the game. You're probably playing your PS5 now. You're probably thinking, how did I do that? You financed it. The bank bought it for you. The bank bought your games. The bank's paying for your internet. The bank's doing all that for you at an interest rate, of course. When you order that food to get delivered to your house, and you buy the food and you leave a tip and pay more for the food, pay more for the delivery of the food than the food itself, you finance that whole thing. The title of the live stream alone. Oh, yes, it sure is. It's your friend. You better believe that, especially when you got some money. Believe that. I wish I was at the crib playing my PlayStation 5 right now. I got mine day one. Luckily, got a pre-order. Well, as long as I'm not saying I'll buy a PS5, but as long as you got money. If you're not in debt, cool. Get you a PS5 because you have money to buy it. But let me tell you guys something that if you got student loan debt, according to the laws of mathematics, now listen closely. If you have student loan debt, according to the laws of mathematics, you have no money to buy a PS5. You can't. That's impossible. So say it like this. Say it like this. Say it like you had $500 to buy a PS5, okay? But you have $50,000 in student loan debt. So if you do 500 let's yeah, 500 minus $50,000 is what, 49 whatever, right? It's still in a negative. It's still in a negative. It doesn't matter whatever number I come up with, it's in a negative. That's all that matters. That's the money you have to buy a PS5. Now, if you don't believe what the calculator's showing you and you say, I'm gonna still get a PS5 anyway, which you probably already did, right? That's because the bank said, yes, you can do that according to the laws of the bank. LJ, I worked as a 1099 contractor last weekend, and I heard my coworker say he's just glad he will get the gross amount of the pay at the end of the day. He's obvious to negative numbers. What do you say? Let me see. Kind of last week I heard my coworker just glad he will get the gross amount of pay. Well, he's saying he's happy just to get all his money because he's not gonna pay taxes or something, or yeah, that's what it sounds like. If he's saying he's happy to get the gross amount, there's no reason to be happy. Why are you happy about that? It doesn't matter. And even like say like this hits you, right? This economy hits you, okay? Which it's forced some people to wake up and say, wait a minute, you mean I've owned nothing this whole time and everything's taken away? Some people will wake up, okay? Some people have woken up, right? And when you cross over from a W-2 worker to a 1099 worker to where you have to pay your own taxes and stuff like that, you're going to mess up. You're going to commingle funds. You're going to do that because it's new. Okay. They don't just come get on your ass right away. Okay. You're going to fuck up. Okay. But you got to remember, you got to pay taxes. Okay. As long as you never forget that, you'll be good. Right. So because there's some people that just blatantly say I'm not paying, period, and start going out financing and buying stuff again. That's just like a big fuck you to the IRS. Oh, I'm not paying taxes and I'm financing shit. I'm buying houses and cars, going on vacations. That's just like F you. And there's people that commingle, mess up, but you're not buying stuff. You're like, okay, I got to fix this. Oh, I got to have separate accounts. Okay, I got to separate this from that, from business expenses. But you figure it out, and then it said like you do get audited. You can clearly explain. Not saying that it's okay to do it. Okay, I'm not saying that, but you can clearly explain and show why or how this money went there. I spent it on this instead of I should have did that. I mean, it's explainable. It's clear to see that, okay, you obviously just didn't know. Period. You can see it. Math will tell you that. Oh, you did it this way because obviously you didn't know the rules. You didn't blatantly disregard them. But when you just don't pay taxes and finance houses and cars and vacations, that's blatantly saying you don't care. Put it this way, okay, so you guys can really understand. And I know slaves don't get it, but when you're in debt, taxes seem to be your enemy. You get out of debt, you'll clearly see that they're not. The reason why tax evasion is so harsh because it's the backbone of our economy. If they didn't force you to participate, you wouldn't. You think if they took a step back and say, "Hey, by the way, this year we're going to let you guys voluntarily pay your taxes." How many slaves you think? No, not slaves, but how many people you think would pay their taxes? None, because most unconscious slaves believe taxes are the very reason why that's keeping them in debt. That's not true. This is the best example I can give you so you can understand the difference in what I'm talking about, because I know this is mind blowing when I say shit like that. What do you mean taxes are not bad? You talking about they're good? Okay, this is what taxes are. Okay, so you can clearly understand this. Say like, imagine if you bought a house in cash and the only thing you had to pay is taxes every year, property taxes every year on your house. Would taxes seem to be that expensive right now? Because you're compared to a monthly mortgage. Like say like the monthly mortgage is $3,000 a month, and then you got to pay taxes on top of that. Imagine removing the $3,000 and the only thing you had to do was pay the property taxes every year on your house. Would taxes seem to be that expensive then? That's my example so you can understand, because that's how it is when you're not in debt. Once you get out of debt and the only thing you're paying taxes, why would you cheat on your taxes? That would make absolutely no sense. None, zero. If I had a paid off house and the only thing I had to do was pay taxes on it, I would not cheat on that. The only thing I would do, I would hire a lawyer probably every year. It doesn't matter. A, look into everything regarding my property taxes. If anything changed or some got added or removed or whatever, I don't want to keep up with that shit. I'm gonna just hire somebody to say, hey man, look at all that up, and then I'll pay accordingly. Because everything changes all the time. It always changes. You gonna personally keep up with that? I'm not. I'll hire. I'll. This is what you got to understand. All when it comes to taxes, and I'm gonna give you guys some game right here. It doesn't matter if you don't understand it, especially if you're in debt. When it comes to your taxes, always hire a person who is a professional, debt-free professional. The person must be debt-free. That's a must. They cannot be in debt. I promise you, those people will get you, they will help you understand. Whoever is doing your taxes, make sure they're a debt-free professional. That is a requirement. They can see something that other people cannot see. I promise you. You could have, put it this way, you could have two professional tax professionals next, one debt-free, one deep in debt. The one that is not deep in debt can see something that the one in debt cannot see because they're mathematically blind. He didn't even recognize that the net of his earnings. No. You want to get your taxes right? Find a debt-free professional tax person. They must be debt-free. If they have student loans, don't use them. They must, and the reason why I say debt-free, this is so you guys can really, really understand. They must own themselves. Do not get financial advice from a person that doesn't own themselves. That doesn't make any sense. None, zero. Never take financial advice from somebody making car payments. Never take financial advice from somebody paying restitution, especially on a financial crime. That would make no sense. Commendable says, lots of unconscious slaves in here today. Maybe one will listen, then decide to plan on leaving the debt plantation one day. The economy needs the rest to stay, however. Yes, I understand. When I come over here, I probably, if there's 60 people come in the room, I probably reach one. Now, people probably think that's bad. No, it's not. That's how much room it is over here. I don't feel bad that I reach one or two people. That doesn't make me, that makes me happy that I reach one or two people. I know I do. Half the people that probably listen to me, they don't communicate with me at all. They just listen to my videos. But like I said earlier, this game is going to be stopped giving away for free. I'm done with that. I made enough videos for people to get what I do. Period. If you want to skip light years ahead financially, hey, come see me. I don't care how much money you make. If you're in debt, you're just a slave. I don't care if you make $2 million. I don't care if you make fucking $5 million. If you're in debt, you're a slave. I want you guys to get out of that world of six figures. Hey, six figures, this person, that don't mean shit. You got to ask yourself, why do they keep mentioning six figures? Because they believe that's a lot of money. You think that's a lot of money to Apple? If somebody makes six figures, they're paying people six figures. I don't look at the person making six figures. You know why? You know what I say? Who's paying them? Same thing with basketball, football, sports players. I don't look at the players' amounts. I ask about the amount you cannot see. How much do the owners make of the NFL players? How much do they make? Oh, that's not public information. Wow, that's weird. But everybody on the teams, their salaries are public information, but the owners are not. That's weird. You mean the owners can pay one football player a $500 million? How much is the owner making? Oh, that's not public information. That's weird. I would love to too. I would love to go on more panels. Would love to. But it counts on the type of panel because I don't like yelling with unconscious slaves. I don't do that no more. I'm not going on panels trying to convince unconscious slaves to believe in mathematics. That's done. I'm here for the people that are ready to be free. I'm ready for them to say, "Hey, man, I'm tired of living like this, man. Thinking paychecks is, I mean, paycheck to paycheck. Do you know they're doing you slaves even worse? They're getting your car repossessed. They doing. Have you seen all these payday advance apps that are coming up? That's just the new payday lending, slaves. Those apps are doing the same thing that the payday lenders did. Loan you money before you get your check. You can just do it from your phone now. They don't need buildings anymore. Chime, all these man, they're just doing you guys so dirty. Not okay. Let me say that back. Let me keep going back. They're taking advantage of the fact that you don't trust mathematics. That's what they're doing. Because if you did the math, you would clearly see none of that makes any mathematical sense ever. None, zero. Your community posts be killing me, LJ. I'd be like, I know, I love doing that, man. I love doing those posts. But have you noticed more of them going to the members only though? I'm tired of giving away this game for free. You guys don't deserve this. The ones that don't believe in mathematics, you don't even deserve to hear me. I'm not here to convince you of mathematics. Oh, LJ, you were repetitive. So fucking what? So what? But yet they keep coming back. I don't go to your channels. They always keep coming back to my channel. Hey, you ain't nothing. LJ, then why do you keep coming back? I'm not going to your channel and leaving comments, am I? Because I don't want to go to your channel. I don't go to Unconscious Slaves channels. Not a lot at all. You take out the taxes and it counts on who's making the 120. Somebody in debt or somebody who's debt free. If you're debt free, put it this way, if you're debt free making 120, you living good. But if you're 120, but you're triple that in debt, you're living bad. It counts on who's talking about it. All the cryptocurrencies are an illusion. Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Litecoin. Have you noticed how many coins there are? How many different paper money do we have? How many different types of paper money do we have here? None, just one. Period. Try to come up with your own paper money. See what happens. You think you can do that? Hey, you know what? I'm tired of this US currency. I'm going to start printing my own paper money. No, you're not. This US currency has been going long enough, man. I'm going to come up with my own. No, you're not. Oh, but you can make up all kind of crypto. Anybody can come up with their own cryptocurrency. Sure, go ahead. That's weird. Don't you think that's weird? Don't you think that's weird that you can come anybody can come up with cryptocurrency, but people can't come up with their own paper money? Yeah, you will get spanked. You can't do that. Those rules are clear to me. I don't think when you're talking about savings minus debt, they keep conflating conflating it with personal debt and business. Yeah, they like to mix personal debt and business debt. Have you noticed when the panels that I do go on, I always have to keep straightening them out. Are you talking about business debt or are you talking about personal debt? They always be flip-flopping. And let me tell you guys something. This is so you guys understand this is clear. People that understand money understand that there is a difference. They're not going to be accidentally flip-flopping between personal debt and business debt. That just doesn't happen. You just, oh, this is, hey, yeah, I got a mortgage on my rental property. Then they'd be like, hey, LJ, I thought you said you were against mortgages. What are you talking about? Mortgages about business or personal? Oh, yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. No, you didn't. That's not what you mean because that's not, you wouldn't have said it if you meant that. I have noticed when people talk against you, they're not understanding that you are talking about personal debt. Yeah, they don't understand. Even you notice how many, even though how many times I say it, they still don't remember it. You know why? Because they don't know. They believe they're homeowners with mortgages. That's number one. No mortgage in the world makes anybody a homeowner. None, zero. And then they believe they're homeowners, especially with subprime mortgages, VA mortgages, FHA mortgages, and all these made up mortgages. Panels go on and talking about six figures and high value, but if you spend your six figures every year on debt, then you're just broke as the janitor and that has student loan debt. Exactly. They don't know that though. This is what unconscious slaves don't understand about six figures, okay? And you can do this on your calculator if you want to. It's totally up to you. Every slaves, well, some slaves do, some slaves don't. The more money you make, the higher you go up in your tax bracket. That means the more money you make, the more taxes they're going to take. Unless, and the only way, listen closely, the only way you could reduce your tax bracket is you cannot be in debt. You have to have money in order to, not money. You cannot be in debt to reduce your tax bracket. That's impossible. You can't. You cannot reduce your tax bracket. That's impossible. According to the laws of mathematics, that's impossible. According to the laws of mathematics, you cannot save for retirement if you're in debt. If you have, okay, listen, according to the laws of mathematics, if you have a mortgage, you cannot save for retirement. Retirement is not an age. You think the bank cares if you retire at 65? Do you think the bank that's holding your mortgage cares if you retired? They don't care. That's your business. You still got a mortgage to pay. Start talking about business and debt, personal debt. You have to teach more about what LJ. You have to start talking about business debt and personal debt. You have to teach more about That I think that's where the confusion. You know what? This to keep that from being confusion. That's why I don't talk about business debt. If I don't talk about business debt, there can be no confusion. If they say, "Hey, man, I got this property and it's a rental. I put two people in it. That's business debt." I'm not talking about that. It cuts them right off. They're like, "Oh, yeah, that's business. That you got a renter? Yeah, okay. That means that's a person that's renting from you. That sounds like business to me." And when I hear stuff like that, I clearly know that they're doing it wrong. Because this is all you got to do. You got to do like this. Like if you got somebody talking about, hey man, I got this rental property, man. The rents. They always say the unconscious slaves always say the same thing. Oh man, I got this rental property. I'm paying them. It's the mortgage is 1,000. I got the renter paying 2,000. The renter's paying my mortgage. Blah blah blah. They always say stuff like that, right? Find out if they have a mortgage on that. What type of mortgage do they have? What type of mortgage is on that? It's different. Whose name is on that? That's the bigger. No, I was thinking a different way. Whose name is it? Their personal name on the house, or is it the business name on the house? That's what you need to hear. Hey man, whose name is your rental property under? If they say so and so LLC, okay, they might be on the right track. But they say, oh man, I just put in my name and then I got so and so, my friend, to live in there. They're doing it wrong. What's up, Fred? It's only confusing to unconscious slaves who don't want to wake up. Exactly. It's only confusing to them. That's why when they flip flop between business and personal, I say, is it business according to the IRS or according to you? Because the only only thing I'm concerned with is it considered business under the eyes of the IRS? And I promise you, if you're getting your car repossessed, you're doing it wrong. If you're getting a car repossessed, taxes are against you. The reason why they're against you is because you are in debt. This is now walk with me slowly so you can understand why your car got repossessed. When you step on the car lot, you have no money to buy the car. That's why you're making payments. And when you buy a car, it's always the price of the car plus tax. So if the car was 20,000, it would be 20,000 plus tax. Let's just keep same round numbers. It goes from, say like the car's 20,000 and don't worry about, I'm just keeping it simple numbers. And with taxes, it came up to a total of 25,000. Let's just say it like that. Since you didn't have the money to buy the car, you don't have the money to buy the taxes. So not only are you financing the price of the car, you're financing the $5,000 in taxes too. People with cash walk on, drop 25, the car plus tax, get the title and leave. You are financing taxes spread across 5, 6, 7 years plus interest. The price of the car is different for you. Only the guy that pays cash got it for 25 plus tax, not you. That's why your car got repossessed. That's why you're hiding it, because you finance taxes across 84 months. Don't ever do that. I would never finance a car. Listen, I would never finance a car So where do you think co-signing goes on my list? There's a reason why the bank is telling them no. If you got somebody come and ask you to co-sign for a car, that's a sign to tell you that the bank knows something that they know something about that person that you don't. That's why they want somebody else attached to that's why they need a co-signer. Because they're saying basically they need a co-signer because they're a high risk. And when that person defaults and not be able to make those payments, they need somebody to come after because they don't want that car. They don't want the car. They want you. They want the money. So anybody come up to you asking to co-sign for a car, you say no. And you better say it confidently too. You better say it with confidence. No. So they don't think, oh man, come on, man. You would nope. No. I have a friend who was about to start real estate investing with rental properties. I told him it's not profitable if you have a mortgage on these homes and you are responsible for the mortgages. Again, I'm not against business debt. But the first question I'm gonna ask the person that's thinking about doing that, are they in debt? Because according to the laws of mathematics, you can't own anything if you don't own yourself. You can't. That's impossible. You don't own yourself. So if you have student loan debt and you're thinking about investing in real estate, you got to stop before you do that. Stop and think to yourself, by having student loan debt older than my children, have I invested in myself? Does that sound like an investment? If you went to college for 4 years, but you kept your student loans for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, does it sound like you've invested in yourself? That sounds like you haven't. So whatever you think you're about to invest in something outside, you think you're going to invest in something outside of yourself that's going to be better than investing in yourself, you're highly mistaken. First of all, that's mathematically impossible. That's number one. That's just right off the bat. It's mathematically impossible. But the main one is this: you haven't invested in yourself. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for joining. After going back and forth 2 or 3 times, I said, I'm just going to sit and watch. He doesn't have student loan debt, but has some debt. That's all they got to do. Unconscious slaves believe that fortune is outside of themselves. Something's better. Something out there. It's got to be cryptocurrency. It's got to be the next real estate boom. It's got to be something. What about you? Zero starts with you. Are you at zero? If you're not at zero, nothing outside of you can exist according to the laws of mathematics. Financially, nothing can exist. According to the laws of mathematics, nothing can exist outside of you. As a real estate investor myself, I disagree. Most people don't run the numbers to understand profits and whatever the market is looking at. Not all markets generate income, so it depends on the housing market. See, this is the difference with Cosmic. Cosmic thinks I'm talking to her. See, unfortunately, Cosmic hasn't had to live in the world of the unconscious. Now, what Cosmic is saying is correct. That's correct, but not for you, unconscious slaves. You guys are under zero. You can't do what she's talking about. That's impossible for you. You can't. What she's saying is true if you're debt free, but according to the laws of mathematics, you can't do what she's saying. That's impossible. If you ever invest in real estate, I think it's wise to establish a separate legal entity and don't invest where you can't afford to lose your pay. Yeah, splitting between personal debt and business debt. Yes, for sure. And don't invest what you can't afford to lose or pay back. Correct. What's up, Eric? Once you own yourself, your whole financial, not only your financial world, your whole entire world is going to change forever. You will never be the same person again because you now own yourself. And then when you walk around and realize how many people that do not own themselves and don't even know they don't own themselves. You think you think if a slave knew that they were a slave and they knew, I mean literally knew they were a slave, do you think they would go on vacation? You think they would care if Christmas is coming? Oh man, I got to get everybody gifts. They wouldn't care about Christmas. They wouldn't care about holidays. Either I'm gonna be slave. I'm gonna continue to be a slave every Christmas, or I'm gonna be free and enjoy Christmas. Well, it's totally up to you. Christmas is different when you're free. When you own yourself on Christmas, it's different than when you're owned on Christmas. Say like say like you're okay. Let me explain this to people that love Christmas. Let me explain this to you. When you're debt free and you really love Christmas, you can take the whole month of December off and enjoy Christmas. Not just a day. You can take the whole month off. Or better yet, like take off the middle of December to the middle of January so you can really enjoy your Christmas. You could do that and get all the people that you want to buy gifts for. You can buy them all gifts, do everything you want because you'll have real money. But if you ever catch yourself saying, "Oh man, I'm gonna enjoy Christmas. I'll pay it back in January," you're an unconscious slave. Or if you buy Christmas, but you take a year or two to pay, say like you did Christmas 2020, but it takes you 2022 to pay it back. That's not Christmas. That's slavery. Your whole life will change. Your whole personal life will change. You will stop being confused about like these relationship channels. I mean, if you got your car, put it this way: if you got your car repossessed, don't worry about relationship channels. That's not going to help you. Somebody outside of you is not going to help you with your car repossession problems. It's you. Once you get out of debt, once you own yourself, you'll ask yourself, why was I on this relationship channels being judged by somebody outside of myself? I don't know. Only slaves do that. If you subject yourself to a person that tells you how you are, what number you are, you're five, I mean, that blows me away. You're gonna sit and let somebody call you whatever. Who gives a fuck what that person thinks? That's the problem for you. If somebody calls you a number, especially for a woman, right? If somebody says you're a six and you believe it, that's on you. Who cares what a person outside of you says? Especially an unconscious slave, especially if somebody's making mortgage payments. I'm a five. You got student loans and mortgage payments? Yeah, yeah. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you won't care the opinions of slaves once you find out they're in debt. You won't care what they think. You won't care what slaves think. You won't care what people if they're making student loan payments. You won't care what they think. They're slaves. Oh man, you need to invest. Is your phone financed? Yeah, shut up. Oh man, you should invest in Bitcoin. You got student loan payments? Yeah, shut the fuck up, slave. Shut up. Oh man, Dogecoin is booming through the roof. You making car payments? Yeah, shut up. Shut up, slave. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Shut up. Man, Bitcoin's booming through the roof. How long you been paying on your student loans? 20 years? Shut the fuck up. You don't even know what you're saying. Shut up. You're not making any sense. None. Zero. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. Ladies, go to Kevin Samuels' channel, get called to find. That blows me away. Let me make sure this is clear. I don't care what he does. I don't care what Kevin does. It's business. That's business. I'm just telling you as a person, there is no way I would let another person in front of thousands of people tell me who I am, what number I am. Are you insane? That's insane. That's insanity to me. I'd be like, says who? You? Who are you? All you need to know, is it's somebody outside of you. That's all you need to know. That's a problem for you. This is why those channels are so big. It's an escape. You just get out of your world for about an hour or two and just listen to other people's problems and listen to somebody talk negatively about somebody else or whatever. Whatever. I only can take about 5 minutes of those type of channels. I only got about 5 minutes and then I'm out. I can't take it. I think to myself, why would another human being subject themselves to another human being? Why? Because they're dressed nice? Because the studio in the background are set up elegantly? What the fuck? What? That don't make no sense. Oh, I'm getting one of those. Give me a Tesla. Believe that. Cash, of course. So just in case if anybody listening and you have a Tesla and you financed it, you're not saving money on gas. If your student loans are older than your Tesla, you're not fucking saving money on gas. Stop it. Oh, look, man, I got the dual motor, self-driving mode. You didn't get anything, slave. Nothing. You got nothing. If your student loans are older than your Tesla, you got nothing. That's the bank's car. It's not your car. They don't care what you upgrade. They don't care if it's self-driving mode, if it's super fast. If you're making payments, so what? Only 60 smart people watching, you ashamed. When you guys see the small amount of people that watch, that's not a bad thing. That's to show you guys something that are coming into this channel. That's how much room it is over here. You will run financially, you'll run loops around millions of people, millions. Simple arithmetic. And I'll give you guys the hint, especially if you're new to the channel. Slaves are mathematically blind. They don't know zero, -1, -2, negative infinity numbers exist. They don't even know those numbers exist. Slaves have no idea zero, even though they taught us all this simple arithmetic in grade school. Remember the number line? Zero was always in the middle. To the left of zero, if you're looking at it, to the left of zero, -1, -2, -3, negative infinity. And then to the right of zero is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zero People don't understand. Out of all the numbers in our numbering system, zero has no duplicate. Have you noticed zero is the only number different than all the numbers on our numbering graph or whatever you want to call it? Zero. There is no match to zero. Zero says, hey, in order to do anything financially, you must go through me. Now, if you don't know that, that's your fucking problem. But zero's here. So if you tell somebody, hey man, count to 10, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you say, hey, well, why did you skip zero? You do know zeros on the graph, right? Yeah. Then why'd you skip it? What do you mean? No, what do you mean, unconscious slave? Zero, 1 through 9 is how you count to 10. You don't start with 1. Those are human beings who don't value their own being. Therefore, it's easy for anyone else to place a worthless value on them. They don't value themselves. And that's sad. If you're letting yourself be judged in front of thousands of people by somebody, whoever, you don't value yourself. That's clear. And then when they tell you this number, then you're trying to give them an explanation. Are you fucking crazy? You should be embarrassed. There is no way you should ever do it. And I put it this way, if you've ever done that and you wake up later down the line and then you see that you're going to look back at that video, you're going to be embarrassed that you just told thousands of people that you don't value yourself. You just told thousands of people that I don't value me. What do you mean? You just accepted this number. You say, hey, this person called you this and you believe it. Now you're trying to explain why this is and why you had kids and who you married. What are you explaining to this motherfucker for? Why are you doing that? The only person you have to explain it to is yourself in the mirror. For sure. We're rich right now. You're wealthy now. You own the time in your life. You don't have to wait. You're there right now. I drive a 10-year-old Impala. Slaves ask me every day, when are you going to getting a new car? I say when I got cash out, when I can cash out one. Oh, cash out one. So I thought I was looking at 101, one on one. Slaves don't know that's the only way you can buy a car. It is in cash. That's the only way you can buy a car. It is a good time to get a passport to travel and where? I wouldn't. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying me personally, I wouldn't be traveling. Nah, I'm good. I'll wait. Things are a little too shaky right now. I'll chill. I don't want some shit to jump off and get trapped out the country, out of my resources. Nah, I'm good. I'll wait. First, you need a shot. Then you need 2 or 3 shots. Then this one didn't work. Nah, I'll wait. I'll wait. But that's a whole different subject. I'm just talking about you slaves. That's why I can't watch shows like that, man. I can't. Because if you don't see that, if you don't see that you subject yourself to something like that, that's on you. That's something inside of you. Only people that don't own themselves would ever do that, ever. Why do you guys think I'm not on a lot of panels? Why do you guys think that is? Because I was shred a motherfucker. That's why. They know that. They know that. So I have to make it myself. I have to build it myself. And this is for the people that just want to know, just want to dominate in the financial world. You want to dominate in the financial world? Come see me. Nobody, and I mean nobody, will be able to financially fuck with you. Nobody. And they won't even know how you're doing it. Won't even know. Won't even know how you're doing it. Even if you tell them, hey, how come you're so good in finances? Oh man, I just trust arithmetic. That's it. They'll look at you with like a deer in the headlights. What are you talking about? You trust arithmetic? Yeah. You know the arithmetic they all taught us in grade school? Yeah, that's all I use. That's it. They will be bewildered. Hey man, yeah, I'm investing in my retirement, man. I put in my 401k. I put $5,000 in my 401k, and I get $5,000 on my taxes. Do you got student loan debt? Yeah, you ain't getting $5,000 off of nothing, slave. Nothing. Shred it. They don't even know I do it. They don't even know I'm shredding them. Don't even know. Ramil knows though. You guys better believe. If you're a youngster and you listen to Ramil, listen when he talks about financial. You guys better be listening. He owns a house. This is like when he talks, I know people don't really understand you guys don't hear him. He owns his house. All you got to do, find somebody else in your life that actually owns their house, not with a mortgage, owns it. When you don't find anybody and then you come back and talk to him. Only thing low value about a woman is her mind if she believes that bullshit that Kevin talks. And I want to make sure it's clear. What he does is business. If whatever Kevin Samuels is doing and it's legal, it's business. Never, ever, 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 ever mix your feelings with business. You look at what he's doing. This is what I look at what he's doing. I'm proud of him. Look, I don't even know him personally. Hey man, congratulations on your business. Congratulations. But your content? Oh, I don't give a shit about your content, but hey, congratulations. It's legal. Whatever. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Congratulations. He's not the only type of dude that does those. I mean, there's a whole bunch of channels that does what he does. You just folk. I don't know why people just focus on him. There's a whole bunch of people doing the exact same thing. Look at the thumbnails. All the thumbnails look the same because they all talk about the same shit. They all look the same because it starts with you. Do you own yourself? If you don't own yourself, that's why you listen. That's why you think something outside of yourself is going to resolve something. That's why you think that because you don't own yourself. Once you own yourself, your eyes will open up and you'll realize how many people don't. If they're making car payments, they don't own themselves. If they're making phone payments, they don't own themselves. If they have student loan payments, they don't own them. They don't own themselves. And if they got PPP fraud, let me explain something to you. This so you guys can clearly understand this. And I want you to make sure you understand this part. If you're out there dating somebody and you find out they're part of PPP fraud, those are slaves for life. You better not legally tie yourself to that person. They're slaves until they're dead. You combine yourself with a slave, all your household income will be going to the federal government. Some of it will. Payments, restitution, fines, legal fees. Try not to do this. Like this is what I want you guys to do, especially when you when you when you own yourself, you'll look at people and channels differently. I always look at channels. It doesn't matter who it is. If I go over there and look and whatever they're doing is legal, who cares? I don't care what he's talking about. So what? Who cares? I'm just telling you as a person, if you get up on somebody's channel and subject yourself to criticism from somebody outside of yourself, that's your problem. That's something inside of you. If you're listening to those channels and you're a person that's getting your car repossessed, I know it doesn't sound like one has anything to do with the other. It does. What does getting a car repossessed have to do with relationship channels? Everything. You can't see it because you're an unconscious slave. You can't make the association of the two. But what I'm telling you is because you don't own yourself, because you have car payments. They always say money is the number one reason for divorce. No, it's not. It's debt. It's not money. Never once had a woman divorce me because I was putting too much money in her bank account. Oh my God, LJ, you just keep stuffing my bank account with money. Oh my God, I'm leaving you. That has never happened in my life ever. It's debt. It's not money. When you come across somebody say, "Oh man, I lost my car because of COVID," just pay attention. Whatever you say, whatever you say. Just listen to the words they say. I lost my car. That statement alone tells you that they're unconscious slaves because they really believe. They're telling you they really believed it was their car when it wasn't. You can't lose something that you own. You can't. But an unconscious slave don't know that they're saying that. So they'll blame it on something. Oh, because of this, because of that. No, it's because of you. You didn't know the reason why you're financing the car is because you couldn't afford the car. Hence payments. So when you put it this way, okay, so you guys can expect back to these relationship channels, right? Oh, this person's a six-figure earner. They got this job because they all give you guys the same description, okay? College educated, six-figure earning professional. They live here. They have this kind of house. They drive this kind of car. It's the same cookie cutter standard across the board. Okay, unconscious slaves, fucking wake up. That's the same thing. But if you find out that they're making car payments, they're just like you. And mostly, and this is what you guys really don't know, the majority of the highly educated professionals, so-called highly educated professionals, they're the deepest in student loan debt. Most of you that are non-professionals that probably didn't even go to college, you're closer to freedom than them. You don't even realize you are. If you have no student loan debt right now, you're closer to freedom than most of the professionals that you envy. They got hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt and you have none. And everything you have right now is bankruptable. You can go file Chapter 7 and be 100% free at zero right now. Right now, you just go see a lawyer and say, "Hey, I'm filing Chapter 7 and you have no student loan debt." You could be free right now. Those so-called six-figure earning professionals that you envy, they can't do that. They have to pay back every single penny of that student loan debt, every single penny. And they can't do it with the fancy house and the big car and the vacations. They can't do it. They don't know that if you did it, they don't know that you're free with your regular job while they're deep in debt, looking like they have money. SMD was a high value man, but still have six-figure means it's not nothing. That was me for years. Six-figure earning, $160,000 a year. I'm just telling you guys that because that's what I did. It's nothing to brag. There's nothing to brag about. Don't think I know you. I know most of you guys that have never earned that amount of money, $160,000 a year. You'd be like, oh my God, stop thinking like that. The only reason why you're thinking that $160,000 a year is a lot of money because you don't own yourself. Because it counts on who you're asking. When you're on these channels and you hear them talk about six-figure earners, you got to stop and think to yourself, who are they asking this question? Their friends or Bill Gates? Their friends or Jeff Bezos? Their friends or Elon Musk? You ask Elon Musk, hey, Elon, do you think six figures is a lot of money? You probably laugh in your face. Six figures? Oh my God, that's funny. What do you mean, six-figure minus taxes or six figures gross? What are you talking about? Shout out to Nick for the 19.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. Had a 50K sale month in solar. Wow. Hey man, it should be booming for you right now because slaves are on a house buying frenzy right now, man. Oh man, you can save money on solar. Hey man, yeah, we got financing. Hey Nick, how long are they financing these solar panels for? 84 months? What are they doing? Because trust me, solar panels couldn't sell if they wasn't financing them. So how long they financing them for? Shout out to Alex. Salute LJ. I'm late, but I'll catch the playback. Appreciate it, man. It's a good one. What's up, Dale? How you doing, sir? Good friend of mine. Once you get debt free, you will only listen to LJ for entertainment. Exactly. An addict doesn't need a dealer once they break the addiction. Debt is the drug. LJ is the treatment. Yeah, you're right. And so you guys can get a better perspective. What he's saying is like this. When I was getting out of debt, I used to always listen to Dave Ramsey all the time. Always listen to Dave Ramsey, right? But now that I'm out of debt, I don't really listen to him that much because it's the same repetitive stuff, right? It's just the same thing over and over again. You just somebody calls in, hey, I'm in debt. Do you think I should pay this off? Should I keep student loan debt? And it's the same repetitive questions over and over again. Ooh, 20. Listen to this. Okay, watch this. Listen to this. Unconscious slaves believe. Listen, unconscious slaves will finance solar panels for 25 years and think they're saving money on electricity. Let's say that one more time. Unconscious slaves will finance solar panels for 25 years and believe that they're saving money on electricity. Can it get better than that? You can't get better than that. The only person saving money on electricity, whoever pays cash for the solar panels, that's the only person saving money on electricity. One person. That's the world you will be living in. Look how much room there is. When you get out of the debt matrix, you guys know how much room it is over here. You could be able to do anything you want. You're free. There are a different set of financial rules, but they're not bad. They're just it is the way it is. Like, let me give you an example. Taxes are the backbone of the whole economy. You will know not to fuck with taxes, not to lie, not to cheat, no hiding money. Don't just say, I forgot. I didn't know I had this money. I didn't know I was supposed to do this. No, you just do the math. This according to this, there's the rules. You do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm 40-year-old, but debt-free man. Yeah, nice. The cash option saves three. The cash option saves 3 times more. Oh man, I know it does. You better believe it. Cash is the best option. You save more and gain the Trek statement incentives. That's and people like here's another thing. Those incentives for electricity, when you buy an electric car, you save on taxes. The state will give you some kind of cash back, some savings, blah, blah, blah. That what unconscious slaves don't understand. That only applies to people who pay cash, not you. If you finance the electric car, you didn't save anything. You cannot save money according to the laws of mathematics. You cannot save money on taxes if you're in debt. You can't. According to the laws of mathematics, if you finance an electric car, you're not saving money on gas. You're not. If your student loans are older than your Tesla, you're not saving money on gas. You're not. All right, you guys, we will wrap this up, man. This is 3 hours I've been talking. Got some other things to do today. Tomorrow I will be on I'll do a Q&A Sunday tomorrow, but Monday through Friday I'll be in the members only videos, doing videos in the members only for during the week. And then slowly I'm gonna just break it down to Sundays only for the free side, and then all the rest of the videos will be in the members only, because I just want to talk about next level shit now. I just don't want to talk about, hey man, finance a car is bad, save yourself, and blah blah blah. I'm just getting tired of talking about that shit now. So I'm gonna just talk about the next level things of what you can, people that get it, understand how it really works. Once you're out of debt, you'll see how it all works. Yes, it's really easy to see. None of it's hidden. Okay. If you ever want to own yourself, right here, here's the channel, SMD, right here. If you ever want to be free, if you ever want to know what I'm talking about, like, here, let me give you an example. Say like somebody wrote you a check right now, not even wrote you a check, paid off every single penny of your debt. They didn't give you any money. Okay, listen, here's the difference so you can understand. They didn't give you no money. They just paid off every single penny that you owe. Student loans, mortgage, tickets, penalties, whatever. Every single penny, to where you got to zero. What would that feel like? What could you do? Would you still stay at your job? Would you still work where you work if every single penny of your debt, you didn't have no mortgage payment, car payment, credit cards, all of them paid off? You didn't owe nobody anything. Would you still work where you work? Would you still live where you live? Would you still be with the person that you're with? Married or not, would you still be with that person? Especially if you got to zero and you turn to your partner and say, hey, you want to get to zero too? And they're like, nah, man, I like living. I'm okay with car payments. Would you stay with that person? You wouldn't. You get with somebody that think it's okay to keep student loans your entire life and you pay yours off, you wouldn't be with that person anymore. You wouldn't care what they make. You wouldn't care what their profession is. Nothing. That's what it's like. That's my everyday life now, every single day. Every day. That's my life. I don't owe anybody. I owe myself. When people say, oh man, you're renting, you're a loser, whatever, shut up, slave. Shut up. Where am I going to live? When they say that to you, oh, you're throwing away money on rent, you turn to them and say, where the fuck am I going to live for free, you dumb slave? But you got to say that in your mind. You can't say it to them. I want you to say that to yourself. They don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're saying. That's called slave splaining. They have no idea what they're saying. People with mortgages don't know they're renting from the bank. And they got to pay for all repairs. Who's the idiot? The next time a person with a mortgage tries to make you feel bad, just always remember that all your repairs are covered. Anything that goes wrong in your apartment or your rental, whatever you're renting, they're recovered by your landlord. They got to pay for everything out of pocket, and they think they own something. They're just renting from the bank. They don't know they're renting from the bank. Oh, that's different. Says who? The bank told you that? The bank told you, since the landlord is no longer involved, you're somehow different. No, you're just responsible. Stop throwing away your money on rent. So I should throw it away to the banks instead? Shut up, slave. You're slave splaining. Shut up. Stop saying stuff like that out loud, slave. Those slaves be posting that shit on their social media. Hey, stop throwing away your money on rent. Oh, so I should give it to the bank instead. Shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, so I should be so I should go finance a house for 30 years that they build in 30 days. Shut up, slave. That's why you have student loans, because you think it takes 30 years to pay off a house and I'm throwing away money on rent. Shut up. All right, that's it. I'm out. You guys want some more SMD? Come to the Discord server. Other SMD family members are there to answer questions. Uh, I'll put the link to the Discord server under this video once it's over. So you guys can sometimes when you ask questions in there, I'll answer some questions in there. Sometimes mostly other, because sometimes people want to know some things outside of personal finances. There are other SMD family members that are well beyond me. Cosmic wisdom, international minded. Other people are in there to answer your questions. So they're there to answer those questions anytime you want. So here is the channel that I talk. I put the links in there for you guys to ask me questions. That's why I always post a link in there, and I don't really get people to jump on the panel. I don't know if they're nervous or scared. I'm not quite sure, but hey, I'm here. When I'm on this, there's questions here that I can answer your questions. But this is where I do it. All right, you guys have a good one, man. It's 3 hours. My voice is getting tired. Until next time, later.